Well, here we are again. I was just talking to Blake about how upset I was about last week. I missed the cast, and it's one of these things where, you know, you get ready for the sleepover, and then I did something wrong, and my mom said, fuck it, you're not sleeping over. And I go, what are you talking about? And I go, we have a plan. We're going to see a movie tonight. My mom's like, no, you're staying home tonight.
I never bring it up. You know,
it's rather embarrassing.
I don't want to get you in trouble or embarrass you.
It was really embarrassing. My mom's like, no, you're not sleeping over tonight. You're not going over.
Last minute, you weren't allowed to come over.
And I start crying. Yeah, it didn't help.
I hate you.
I hate you all. Then you're like in your bedroom, and you're like, where do I go from this point? They're not listening anymore, so you just stomp around.
Stomp on the floor.
Yeah. I don't want to eat dinner. And I'm like, I'm hungry. You know? And then it's like, then you're still looking at the clock. It's like 8 o'clock. And you're like, you think maybe if his parents say it's okay, I can maybe stay. No? Come on, please. I'm sure they'll let me. 9 o'clock. You think maybe? No. So, yeah. But great cast. Mr. Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Mike rose to the occasion.
He was making me laugh. It was
Mighty
hilarious.
Mike Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Great. Go Holland from the old Chicago.
Kicking a Chicago style.
Yeah, I forget what he said.
I did not know that.
Thin crust
like
first.
That like New Haven style thin crust. Because the way he was describing it,
didn't
sound like New York to me. It sounded more like New Haven.
Yeah, it's
like really thin.
Who knew it was like North Side versus South Side? Like he said, but he's like one. I forget which
like
one, but one is
Side Story over there.
Yeah. It's always been seasons, you know. I mean, even
arguing over pizza.
You know, maybe that's like how like Capone went against like, you know, George Bugs Moran and all that was because of the pizza, or Dion O'Banion, it was the pizza epidemic. But he said that like, I guess I've always thought, and I guess maybe that's...
I always figured that they like not every pizza joint in Chicago was deep dish.
But you usually deep dish hails from Chicago, you think? That's what you always hear, especially in these now that you have these like, you know, Food Network or these channel documentaries where they're like, let's track down.
I didn't get it. Obviously, I didn't get into it too much with them. I would imagine it was because like some Chicago restaurants started doing that.
Yeah, some guys like, I'm gonna make it this way.
I'm gonna make it so deep.
I'm gonna make a calzone, but I'm gonna put a lot of things in it, and then we're gonna bake it like a pie. You know, and then it's like all kinds of crazy.
Because they I mean, we can't get into. We don't have time to get into a whole. I was going to tell you about how they do it. They put like raw ground.
You're talking about in the deep dish.
Yeah,
and then they just cook it all.
Yeah, because like usually it's like the shit you got to cook the shit because the pizza usually only goes in for like 10 minutes.
That's what I don't understand too. It's like that's the school of thought with like my dad will sometimes. My dad's like the old school Italian, so he'll put like say the raw meat in a sauce uncooked.
Yeah.
And then it cooks because, you know, you cook the sauce for like 24 to 48 hours. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like it cooks in the sauce. And I'm like...
You start on Sunday's gravy on like the previous Sunday.
Yeah, this is going to go cook for about 2 weeks. It's like it was making wine in the basement, you know?
It's sitting there simmering low flame.
And you got to bring it to a boil, let it simmer. And just clean off the top, you know? But it's like, yeah, people will put stuff in and then so... That's the kind of thing you're saying. Like, they just put it in raw.
But a pizza, really a pizza, the idea of a pizza is it goes in really on a really hot oven for a short amount of time. But a deep dish is, you know, there's a lot, I guess it cooks for longer because I was, you know, you watch some show and like the place that originated or one of the famous places in Chicago, they take the sausage and they lay it. It's like it's like they got the dough, the crust, then it's like raw sausage.
Right in there.
And then other shit on top. So it's in there long enough and hot enough to cook raw meat.
I know in the New York area, because I don't know if it's zoning or whatever, but there was this thing where you're not allowed to, you know, whatever ovens, you know, the old-fashioned traditional big pizza ovens you can't put new ones in. So like if a pizza place goes out of business, that's why people try to like snatch up that place because it has a surviving oven in it. But the new thing, maybe it's not new, but it's new from what I've heard is like these wood burning ovens, but they're high heat. So it's like the old traditional oven. You're supposed to. It's basically stays on all night, like at a low temperature, and then you stoke it back up in the morning, whatever time you come in. But these places, like I knew a friend of mine who was part ownership in a pizza place, and it's one of these places where you put the pizza in, and I don't know what the temperature is, but the pizza's only in for like 5 minutes, and it cooks that quick, because it's such high intensity heat. Like I don't know, it's like 1 billion degrees, and so I've seen a lot more of that where you have those kind of ovens. So it's like very, I guess that's the artisan, I guess, style of doing pizza. I had a funny story where I'm allergic to walnuts, and I had to do a show where I did a show
where they made you eat as many walnuts as
like I'm allergic to walnuts.
It's one of those crazy Japanese
I'm
game show.
I win. But it was one of these things where early on in life I realized I'm allergic to walnuts, so I've only ever encountered walnuts in cookies. So when you're baking a cookie, or a pastry or whatever, is there walnuts in the brownies and the cookies? So I was doing a TV show one night, and the host ordered us all pizzas, and it was from like down in the village, one of these little pizzas that cost like $30, and he ordered a whole shitload of these artisan pizzas. So I gobbled down a bunch of pizza. I was running around, and then it was a real busy that night because there was a court case that the jury came back on not guilty, so we had the whole jury on. So once I leave, I'm going home, I start feeling weird. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And my eyes are starting to get itchy, my throat, and traditionally, like my throat gets itchy, and I can tell that's when I'm having a reaction. So I get on the train, and I'm like looking, and my eyes are all swollen up. And come to find out, I Googled the place. It had cream of walnut in the pizza,
like in the dough.
I don't, in the sauce or whatever. It was just as an ingredient, cream of walnut. I'm like, who the fuck puts cream of walnut in a
son of a bitch?
Yeah, so I didn't need to get like an EpiPen shot, or like I had to just take a Benadryl, but like I looked like freaking Joseph Merrick for like the Elephant Man for like 3 days. Luckily that happened. Yeah,
it's like all misshapen.
And I gotta walk around with like a fucking rag on my face. I look like Jason Voorhees from the first 3 Friday the 13th, with a pillowcase on one eye. But like literally, my face blew up, and I kind of looked like Asian, like I looked Chinese because my eyes kind of swelled around the bridge of my nose. And luckily it was a Friday because that shit didn't go down to like Monday morning. I was like, and I have a picture of it. Maybe for shits and giggles, you could see me Sunday morning what I still look like. I'm like, but it's like, we're talking about pizza. That's the only reason why I'm bringing that story up. Yeah. So, but yeah, so great cast last week.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
it was nice of Mike to.
Now I just got to watch out. My mom
lend a hand.
Fucking do that again.
It's a movie that he loves,
and so I'm already throwing down. I think you guys should do another special next time you record together. You guys do The Thing You Do. Is that the name of the Tom Hanks movie?
Thing You Do. I don't know anybody else that likes.
Neither
that
do I,
movie.
except you two. And that's nothing to say. Full disclosure, I've never seen it. So I'm sure maybe it is a great movie, but it sounds like you guys are ardent supporters of you both own an original
Tom Hanks directorial debut.
Yeah, you both own the original prints of that movie.
Screening room, private screening room.
You have 35 and 16.
You have to hire like a union projectionist to come in and play it for us.
It's expensive. We've looked into doing that too, but we digress. But that'll be great. That's a great podcast to do.
All right, sometime after the new year.
Yeah, but we're here now, and it's Christmas time.
It is Christmas.
Yeah, and unorthodox.
We've had unorthodox Christmas choices all along.
It's nothing new.
Our first year we did Ernest Saves Christmas and Christmas.
I'm disappointed. I like. Where's the love for Ernest P. Worrell? I mean, I know you didn't grow up really following him, but I
remember him.
Yeah, but I thought
show and stuff.
I thought people would be more happy about Ernest Saves Christmas.
Well, it's just I think half of it was our first year, so we were only like 3 months into the podcast, 4 months into it was our 4th month of doing the podcast.
Yeah,
and nobody listened yet.
We need to push that. We need to push Ernest Saves Christmas, and we need to push the Black Christmas.
Everyone who listens to the podcast now, go back.
Yeah.
And venture into the early episodes.
And as Mike has said last week, that we're always talking about how Remo.
Remo Williams. Why isn't Remo Williams more popular?
But it's always, for me, it's Trial the Incredible Hulk, and then the Ernest Save Christmas.
I always say Black Christmas is one of my favorite podcasts. I love that movie. So I think it's good because it was a passionate one.
It's also Bob Clark who did A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
And people don't know that. I mean, children shouldn't play with dead things, but you got a guy like, I mean, he's got notoriety now. He's passed away, but it's like, his thing now is going to be A Christmas Story.
It has. I tell my John Saxon story.
You tell your that you bought
Screen
John
Factory's
Saxon's.
coming out with a new edition of it this year. So if you get that new edition, you listen, you watch the movie, you're into it. Think about going back. And
We should have tried to petition Scream Factory to
put it on a special like an extra feature,
like an Easter egg. The Saturday Sleepovers edition.
I got to start thinking of that because I actually know the guy that does those special features for those.
I mean, because who else is doing like entire episodes that are like pro the movie?
Yeah.
So, but that we did that the first year. Last year we ended up doing Gremlins and
Invasion USA, another one.
Invasion
Surprisingly,
USA.
didn't do as well as we.
Yeah, where are the Chuck Norris fans out there? I mean, but the people who listened loved it. I remember like people were like, that's great. You guys are talking about that.
It's a great movie.
It's intense. So it's intense and scary. It's still now I'm remembering it. It frightens me. Those scenes in it.
You're not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
I'm not gonna be able to, just in case what's his face is going around with those crazy terrorist bastards that are blowing up school buses and neighborhoods with
suburban neighborhoods.
Yeah, with laws and
houses with the Christmas trees and window.
Yeah, it was that movie. That's a forgotten gem, man. That movie is really terrifying. I mean, I always wish it got the like Die Hard started that whole like late '80s boom of action movies, but I think. Invasion USA should get in the annals of Christmas movies. Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
Die
that'd be
Hard.
Like a 3-pack. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, and Invasion USA.
That's a 3-pack right there. That's in the $5 bin. And with the
all on one disc.
All on one
Not
disc.
even 3 discs.
Yeah, and it's like special features, interactive menu. It's in stereo. So
all on one menu.
Yeah, but this year and this week we're again departing from our norm.
Yeah,
and we're doing kind of like what we did a month ago. We're going back to the annals of television.
Oh yeah,
and we're doing.
We are Saturday night movie sleepovers,
Yeah.
but. Television plays a huge part in the sleepover experience.
Of course, especially for us, and we've established that long ago with TV movies and TV shows and any kind of
And this week it's movie related.
It is because this movie's coming out, and there's a movie coming out that's related to this movie.
Yeah.
Completely coincidentally, they must have been listening to our podcast and knew that that we were doing that. They're like, what? Maybe we should tie it into those young boys podcast. But we're doing this week. We're doing the Star Wars holiday special that aired November the 17th, 1978. Yeah,
on CBS. Preempted Wonder Woman and The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it was a Friday night, and right there they're going for that market because they're who's watching The Incredible Hulk and Wonder Woman are probably like kids and
which it's amazing to think
stuff.
that those two shows were on the same night on the same channel
back to back. Yeah,
because it's DC and Marvel duking it out Friday night.
Yeah, I'm surprised I never even thought of doing like a crossover. Like, hey, let's have Linda Carter and Bill Bixby walk. I mean, I guess first season of Wonder Woman's like World War II, but then they're like that didn't happen. Yeah. So they preempt that for this son of a gun.
A miraculous 2-hour.
A 2-hour
holiday special.
Yeah, and
it's important to note that it's a holiday special because the world of Star Wars doesn't take place in our galaxy.
Yeah,
and it's a long time ago,
which I find in a far, far away
land. So Christmas doesn't exist in that galaxy,
and I found it very forward thinking, which we can get into later on. Because it's very encompassing of all races. It's not just Christmas or Hanukkah or
celebrating life.
Kwanzaa. Yeah, it's Life Day. Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day to you too, Dion.
Happy Life Day. So
I'm gonna change my religion. I'm gonna celebrate Life Day.
So what
put on my red robe
and just walk around
and walk
and just
through space towards a bright star.
and then what do you call it? Like a lifer? It's like I wonder what the old whatever they consider themselves. But you have the original movie that comes out in the summer 77.
77, yes. And changes the face of cinema
forever. Yeah.
And marketing and like toy marketing.
Everything, yeah.
It changes everything. And we'll get to the Star Wars trilogy at some point. We can't get bogged down with that information.
No.
But it's important to...
It's a game changer for
It's
that
important
era.
to recognize that, because this movie comes out after a year of Star Wars mania and a re-release, a successful re-release in the summer of '78.
Yeah, and then
they re-release it. It makes like $10 million in 3 days.
Yeah,
we're talking about $78.
And we talk about all the time. We always sit at the table and talk about the era around it. This is prior to videos. This is prior to being able to get YouTube, of course, and internet. So if you want to go see this thing, you either got to go buy the book. Yeah. Buy the trading cards, buy like the 8mm condensed film version, buy the like projector. Remember the thing that you talked about maybe in the Ghostbusters cast where it's like the slides in a projector and you project it on a flashlight, the flashlight on a wall.
And they have one that's kind of like a Viewmaster where it's a strip of tape, a strip of film inside there. And you look into it and you hold it up to the light. You look through this thing and you kind of crank it. And you can like watch like the scene where they shoot down the TIE fighters.
Yeah, and
from the Millennium Falcon.
So it's very, for people younger than us, it's very rudimentary back then. But you didn't have, you have to go to the movie to see this. And then what they do is the movie comes out in the summer of '77, and then like I guess in the fall of '77 they release a like TV special on like the making of Star Wars, and that was huge. Like so they start realizing, hey, we got to start, let's start giving them more stuff, and then. I think it was the Richard Pryor show. He had a show at the time, very short run, and they had like a skit where he's like in the cantina with the original. Yeah. So it's the first time you see like the Star Wars guys.
Because I read that it was Donnie and Marie.
Yeah,
so
you have the Pryor thing in the cantina.
That,
yeah. So what happens is you start seeing the Star Wars the original characters and costumes in these skits. So you have the Richard Pryor show, and he's in the canteen, like in Tatooine. Then you have the Donnie Marie variety show, like you're saying. Yeah. They're dressed up as like, I don't know, maybe Han and Luke, and they're interacting with, I think maybe CP3O. Then I heard even like Bob Hope had a special, and he's, but this was the first special that was not those characters in a skit. Yeah. I mean, then you had like Mark Hamill show up on the Muppet Show.
Was that?
I think that was like, I don't know if that was after this, but that was around between '77 and '80 because the Muppet Show ended around '80.
I'm wondering if that's a recollection. I just don't remember if that might have been for like Empire.
Yeah, because they canceled the Muppet Show right before the Muppet movie, and the Muppet movie is either '79 or '80. So, but anyway, this is the first. So we get to like the summer of '78, and this is the first property they say, hey, let's. Like, it's going to be its own. It's not going to be our characters in somebody else's show as a skit. It's going to be its own thing. We want to carry. We got a movie coming out in like 2 years in 1980. We want to keep this audience. We want to keep selling these toys, selling these merch. So we need to keep throwing at them, product. And they got the bright idea to, hey, let's do a Christmas special. And they said, okay, a Star Wars Christmas special. That's a little odd. And then they're like, well, they don't have Christmas. So they say, we have to, we'll turn it into like a freaking holiday special. And then the rest is history.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Very short. That's like the projector. Remember the 8mm? That's the condensed version. I'm here to protect you. Okay, we're done. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, like in a nutshell, a company called Smith and Hemian, run by Gary Smith and Dwight Hemian, they were known for doing like variety shows. Yeah. So Fox,
which was huge at the time, variety show. I mean, variety shows were big.
There seems to be no like definitive, like this is what happened. But when you piece together the pieces, when you kind of look through everybody's story, it seems pretty clear that maybe Fox had this idea of, because 20th Century Fox, they had this idea of doing the Star Wars special.
Who put this movie out?
Yeah, they did Star Wars. So, and then CBS is who airs it, and they're like, well, we can use it to sell toys. We'll release new toys.
Well, like you said, there was a re-release of the movie that did gangbusters. They had Miko. Remember, Miko had like the disco versions of the soundtrack, and that was huge. So it's like anything you could find,
But they knew they were doing the sequel because the sequel was already like they were writing the sequel already.
Or kind of like some sort of pre-production.
And so they come up with this idea, and Lucas is like, I don't know. And they're like, well, look, we have to keep it in the this is gonna be good for Empire Strikes Back. We got to keep it, in people's
this
minds.
This is good, and you know, and Christmas is coming up.
It's
We
going
want
to
to
be
sell stuff
promoting
for
it,
Christmas.
and he's like, okay, so fine. He gives in, says, all right, let's do it. They hire 2 writers, Lenny Rips and Pat Proft, to write the script for it. They meet with Lucas. They spend the whole day with Lucas, and you know, Lucas has since done nothing but badmouth this thing. Kind of disowned it. His name's not on it.
And that's kind of pisses me off, because if you read the backstory about this, he was involved up until production. It's almost like how Romero was with the remake of Night of the Living Dead. He was ready to go with Tom Savini up until day 1 of production. Then he's like, see you later. And that's it. So, like, you know, Lucas was heavily involved in the pre-production.
Yeah, he says he didn't really have that much to do with it, but piecing together everybody's stories, Rips and Prof, they meet with him. They spend a day with Lucas, and they're talking about it, and they're saying he's very methodical about how he does stuff. He's like, okay, how many minutes are in a TV special like this? They're like 90. So he starts plotting it out minute by minute, and he's the one that comes up with this idea of like a Wookiee holiday,
like a Wookiee family.
And it's, you know, obviously it's not about Christmas, but we'll look at like Chewbacca's family, and I think the original thing was it's like an intergalactic holiday, but this year the festivities on like the Wookiee planet, which in later movies is called Kashyyyk, but I think in the special it's called Kazook.
And I mean, this is where you get a lot of purists, and I guess full disclosure as well, I am not a balls out Star Wars fan, meaning I love the Star Wars just fine, but there's people that are well more knowledge than me and can name off every character's name in the freaking bar, and I can't. So there's a lot of stuff that we should probably know in this that we don't. I kind of lean more towards Star Trek, I think, because when Next Generation came out, and I never had any older brothers who really, you know, were throwing Star Wars at me. And then, you know, as my mom did, she only let me collect 2 toys growing up. So
limited what kind of toy you were allowed
because she didn't want to buy toys for everything. So she said, you have 2 franchises, and I picked G.I. Joe and I picked Transformers. But that's another stuff. So the Star Wars movies for me, I was never like this or that when it came to Star. My mom was a little bit of a Trekkie. So I grew up both a Trekkie and a Star Wars nut. When I was, I don't know, I want to say 8, 9-ish, they had put out a new VHS edition of them, and I asked my dad for them for Christmas, and I got them, and I watched literally at least one of those a week. Yeah. For I don't know how long, years. You know, like I wore the crap out of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. There was, at that time, the 4th tape of that box set was from Star Wars to Jedi, the making of a saga. Yeah. That's those movies are the whole reason why I wanted to make movies. Yeah. Was because of, like, you know, I talk a little bit about a special, like a behind-the-scenes special of Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. Part 4. But, it was all that stuff, and Star Wars was really a big part of my life. And there was a time when I knew everything about especially those original 3. I had like a trivia book that was fucking hard. But I would read that shit religiously and knew the answers to all that shit. And that was a trivia book for Star Wars and Empire. So but as I got older and started to discover more films and stuff, I went a long time without watching the Star Wars movies. And then with all the fucking tinkering and the episodes 1 through 3, it just kind of soured me on it, and so I took a long break from Star Wars. I remember that my father, I think he must have taped off HBO when it premiered, like Empire. Yeah. And the opening for Empire with the Imperial Walkers was like my shit. Yeah, and all I wanted as a child was an Imperial Walker, and I never got the damn thing. But that was my dream. It's like I wanted the USS Flag and I wanted the Imperial Walker, and that's the notorious tape where. I still have to this day. It's like it's the Karate Kid into Terminator, and then when Terminator's over, it fuzzes out and it comes into Cloud City where like they walk in and Vader puts his hand up and grabs Han's gun, and then Boba Fett comes around the corner. That's and that's the end of it. So that tape. He's not good to me, Dad. Yeah, I wore that freaking tape out. So it was, and then I remember getting Return of the Jedi came out, and I went to like Caldor's, which was like a local store here, and I got like the book to tape.
Yeah.
And there was something wrong with the tape. I put the tape in, it was all like...
Caldor's was like a Kmart.
Yeah, it was like one of those...
Bradley's, depending where you grew up.
Ames, wherever you were, regionally, like a wall. I guess it was like a early Walmart for us. And something was wrong with the tape, and I had to return it. And then I think I got Thriller instead, but who knows if I kept that tape. But I had like it was like Return of the Jedi book. Because by that time the marketing was huge. But so I don't know as much as a lot of people now, especially nowadays with all the new movies come out, that I should. But there's a lot of stuff that ended up premiering in this that was like groundbreaking and a lot of like
here's the
original.
interesting thing, which I think we should put up. We should mention this up top, because I mean most people will know it's notorious for being absolutely awful and fucking hated.
Yeah.
And I was thinking before we decided, like after we decided to do this, and as we were watching it and getting ready to do this, I was thinking like we're going, knowing us, we'll be probably like a very rare occasion where somebody covers this movie and is nice about it.
This is where I was worried about going into this cast, because another full disclosure, since it's all these, we're doing it's the tell-all episode. I have never seen this beginning to end. I only got a bootleg of it from a friend of mine at the video store I worked at, like when I was in college. I watched some of it, and it was a really shitty copy, and I was like, okay, I kind of get the gist. I never really, I had no real appeal to watch it until, and I've seen scenes. I've seen the animated segment a couple times, until we decided to watch it. And we watched a pretty good copy of it we found, and is it wrong to say that I loved it? I thought it was great. I mean, for what it is. I mean, I'm a fan of 70s variety show television. I mean, I love the actors in it. I see the fault that people have. I understand the expectation. I completely concede all that, but I had a good time. Like at the end of the day, like I liked.
Well, we should. When you say you like the actors, it's just occurred to me that like the guest actors, like B. Arthur,
Art Carney, Harvey Korman.
I'm like, they cast this for you.
They must have. They were like, Dion's gonna love this.
What's a 37-year-old Dion gonna be into?
Yeah, he's gonna be into. And at the time, you think what was big there, Maude, which was B. Arthur's show, was on until about 1980.
Carol
so
Burnett, which
Carol
a lot of the
Burnett
writers,
the writers were from the Carol Burnett show.
Not the two we talked about, but later other writers came on, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
and they worked like with the Carol Burnett show.
Yeah, and that's why Harvey Korman's picked from that. And I love Harvey Korman. He's hilarious on the Carol Burnett show as well as like in the Mel Brooks movies. So those are going at the time. And Art Carney at the time, he just won an Oscar coming off of Tonto and Me. What's him and the cat? I forget the name of the darn thing, but that was a great movie for him. So it's like I loved all that. And I can see, but then it's like, you see the pace, you could completely see the faults of what's going on here. But so my point is, I enjoyed it, and I know people thought it was terrible, and I can, I guess, see, you sitting down that night, kids are going to get bored real, you don't know what's going on. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, and I think it was a case of like, since 20th Century Fox knew the property well, gave it to the people of CBS, they didn't know what to do with it. They're like, I think I've even heard like urban legend that like the people at CBS like, why do the Wookiees have to be naked? Can't they have like pants or something on? Yeah. So they don't know. That's why like when you're in the scene with B. Arthur, like in the cantina, she calls like Guido. She calls him like Leo
Guido.
When I say Guido, I say it's the Guido there. She calls him like Ludlow, doesn't she? She says like so.
I wish he was named Guido. That'd be. Listen, Guido, you tell Jabba.
It becomes very racist. You tell that fat ass.
He's a money collector for Jabba.
I know. His name's Guido.
On shot first. God damn it. Not Guido.
God damn it. Yeah, we're gonna call him Guido. She calls him Ludlow. So it's like, so I think like a lot of these people, they didn't know what to do with these people, or they didn't know or care about these backstories. So that's where you get the fault of, and the variety show was big at the time. You had, like you said, there's the Donnie Marie show, even though the Brady Bunch had got canceled.
I mean, look, we're talking about the late 70s.
The Brady Bunch came back. They tried to do a
Sonny
video
and
show.
Cher,
Sonny and Cher.
Smothers Brothers. Some of these guys worked on the Smothers Brothers show.
I think even maybe Freddie Prinze Sr. might have had like a variety show for a minute. Everybody, that
Dean
was
Martin had one.
Yeah,
I mean, it was all over.
So that was like the variety show concept was dying by like I'd say 80, 81. Variety show concept is dead. But that was I mean, look at that. freaking send up the DC Comics freaking they do the
like
roast.
the roast.
That's
Yeah.
something we should do. And that you're talking about weird hosted by
Maybe
Ed
when the
McMahon.
Justice League movie comes out,
you know,
we'll
when you talk
do
about the Ed McMahon like a freaking Friars roast, he roasts this. And there's two of them too. So it's like you think of the weird world we lived in at that point.
Yeah.
So you can completely see them like trying to touch the older audience who know these older actors and that style with the younger, and it just collided and it didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, so basically these two writers get hired, and it's speculation they had written a bunch of stuff, skits and stuff for this these mimes that were popular. So they were good at writing stuff that didn't have dialogue and getting a story across. Because lo and behold, like the first 15 minutes of this movie or this show are just Wookiees talking Wookiee talk.
And what's funny is they're not even like, it's not even joking. It's actually like you can kind of tell
he's going to spoil his appetite. Take out the garbage.
He doesn't want to take his garbage out. His grandfather's like, take the fucking garbage out. You know, well, I go jerk off to freaking.
He's whittling an X-Wing fighter.
Yeah, and he's playing around. The mother's like, I'm worried about. And you come to find out that Wookiees are really whiny.
Yeah.
You know,
no wonder Chewie's off with Han.
Yeah, and then like I mean you know the movies the special starts off with Han. It's like it's that old driving home for Christmas. You know, you're trying to get home for Christmas.
Well, that's what I was thinking because our first year, we didn't do a Thanksgiving movie this year, but in previous years our two Thanksgiving movies were the John Hughes written classics, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Dutch, which are basically the same plot.
Yeah,
kind of an odd couple trying to get home for the holidays.
And that's always
and what's interesting about this is like that's what this is, except for it's like what if you did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles
in space,
but the entire movie was about
her at the house.
Yeah, it was like about Steve Martin's family being like, is he going to get home?
Yeah, George Petrie and everybody there like, come on, is he or what's his face, JT Marshall? They're like, come on.
You have John Candy and Steve Martin, two juggernauts of comedy.
You're just doing raps. You know, like you see them at the beginning and the end of like before the commercials.
But the heart of the movie is the family wondering. It's like it's an
old story. I mean, like a concept where you see like there's even a famous song. I can't think of the name of the guy who did it, but there's a song called "Driving Home for Christmas," an English song. But it's like that's the old it's like, are you going to get home for the holidays? And that's always like the cliffhanger, like at the last minute, like Dad walks in from like he was on the pipeline. No, Dad, you made the bus. Or there was the storm and we didn't think Dad was going to get through because of that blizzard. Air quotes and like so.
But you'd have our two stars.
Yeah.
You have Harrison Ford and whoever the hell plays Chewbacca.
Yeah,
Peter,
we should know.
You.
Yeah.
You have Chewie and Han. Those are the stars.
Racing in the Falcon.
But, like, we don't have the interesting story, which is them trying to get home. We have the family at home being like, where the fuck is he? Why isn't he home?
Yeah. And then, like we said, we have a guy named Bruce Falange comes in, who was a really popular writer.
Oh, yeah.
Carol Burnett, he punches up Oscars.
Really odd-looking guy. But
really weird. Hollywood Squares, I think he's on.
Squares,
yeah. But he's a very, very successful writer. So he's in there writing. And
what happens is they go through several Rips
directors.
And Proft end up, they take Lucas's idea.
Oh, but Lucas has this idea. He's like, listen, I was going to put this in the movie, somewhere in the movies, but I wanted to go into the backstory of the Chewbaccas.
Yeah. Like the
Wookiee family.
Wookiee family got this holiday, and it's about this intergalactic holiday. And so he has this idea.
The Wookiee planet Kashyyyk.
And according to Rips, one of the writers, Lenny Rips, he says during that day of meeting with him and working out a story, Lucas tells him, he's like, and Han is married.
Yes,
to a Wookiee,
and that's the whole.
But we can't mention it because it would be controversial.
So that's kind of like that. That piece of the puzzle sums up why he knows Wookieean so well, or whatever Chewbacca's language is, and he's able to speak because that means he's married to. That's like. I don't know what you would even equate that to here, like in Earth terms.
Well, you can't.
No, I mean, it's an alien. He's married an alien, but it's like, is it bestiality, or is it? It's not even. We're not even talking about like mixed races here. We're talking about. So the little gem in this is like, Han is married to a Wookiee, and that's the connection with Chewbacca.
But you can't mention it
because it's too controversial.
Because it's too controversial.
I mean, and they go later on like.
So it means that he's.
You got to wait till Howard the Duck to see any kind of animal alien animal love.
This is interesting to see what's on Lucas's mind,
And then
because that's a Lucas production.
and some of I think the first director, he comes on board and he's like, the first he gets like FedEx the script and he's like, the first like 20 minutes of this is just
well, even the writers were like,
there's no
I don't know
dialogue.
if this is going to work.
And
But
Lucas is adamant.
Yeah.
And this is where I get a little mad at Lucas now, because Lucas badmouths the shit out of this and completely divorces himself from it. But he's the one who's setting them up for like semi-failure here by saying, no, this is going to be the story. This is how I want it done. I don't care that they're going to be speaking Wookiee for 20 minutes. We're going to have this, it's basically the daily life.
He basically picks that storyline and makes everybody adhere to it.
Yeah. So we get introduced to the Chewbacca's family, which consists of we have Mala, which is his wife. We have Itchy, which is his father. And then we have Lumpy, which is the son. And I guess
Chewy, Itchy, Lumpy, and Mala.
Yeah, and I hear that like in later years they've tried to amend that by like saying like since Chewbacca, his nickname is Chewy, maybe Itchy's short for Itchawaka, or like Lumpy short for Loompa Lampa. But like
Loompa
Loompa, but they have these weird names. So we have the daily life, like Blake says, where you get like Mala's like getting dinner ready for she's waiting because Chewbacca's supposed to come home at any minute. Dad's there whittling away at a TIE fighter. The kid's running around and she's like, get your housework done. He's like, I don't want to take the trash. I'll do it. And then like we get to the first kind of number, and and then they live in like a treehouse, which is
beautiful matte painting by the guy
Ralph McQuarrie, and he's the person who really establishes the world in the Star Wars movies for this. And it's funny how it's just like basically it's like just a conceptual art of the how they use that. They don't even like have him do a finished matte painting. They just have him draw a conceptual. And the house, to me, it's a treehouse very out of like Shirt Tales or like out of like Gummy Bears. It's like one of those, but it establishes the world.
Yeah, it establishes the world, and as like hated and disliked as this thing was, and as much as Lucas hated it, it is considered canon.
Yes, it is.
Which is odd. When we then visit this planet, which kind of changes name.
Yeah, it comes to Kashyyyk.
It still looks exactly the same, like in Clone Wars or whatever, in Episode 2.
The family eventually goes out, and Chewbacca's family ends up showing up in like some book form and children's things. Yeah. I think Kenner actually demoed 3 toys they were going to make that they never released because this
well, there's
failed.
even some one of those writers that wrote some of those the books, and that take place within the Star Wars world and stuff. Like he says when he was hired to do it, and he had to go through like the Bible of Star Wars and try to figure out like what everything was.
He was handed like a Wookiee Bible.
Yeah. He wanted to kind of do something with the family, but he was told he couldn't do what he wanted to do because Chewbacca already has a family. Yeah, and that was based on this. So I mean, it is, even as much as Lucas hates it, he even like Lucasfilms considers what happens in this kind of canon for the series.
And then I hear, we get introduced. We have a first little sequence where it's like, I feel like it was like a play on like the hollow chess, where you have like that they turn on like
and they have like a circus
Soleil kind of a thing, which is kind of fun. I mean, it's for 80s, for late 70s TV.
Before we jump too much into the story, basically what happens is they write these two guys, Rips and Prof, they write a script based on what the meeting they have with Lucas, but then they give the script to Smith and Hemian, who are producers of what we were saying, variety television. Yeah, and they leave like basically blanks of like, okay, this is where you could put a music number. This is when this happened.
Because it seemed like a perfectly good formula to them, and they're the ones who had the ties to these older actors that, hey, we'll bring in, B. Arthur's popular.
Well, Smith and Hemian, they read it and they're like, this is fine, but we need it to be more. We want it to be more like the shit we do. Yeah. So then that's when they bring in Bruce Falange, Rod Warren, and Mitzi Welch, who then kind of, apparently that's where the shit kind of went off the rails. And they hired a guy named David Akumba, who was basically like a rock and roll documentary guy. He went to USC around the same time as Lucas, although they didn't really know each other.
To direct this son of a gun. But he doesn't have, if you think about it, maybe it's common knowledge today, but traditionally when you shoot movies, it's like a one camera setup, mostly, maybe 2 at most. most unless you're doing like a big action sequence, as opposed to television, where television's kind of shot on a stage like you'd see in a theater, and there's 4 or 5 cameras shooting the action at once.
Yeah.
So for a director who may not be even accustomed to that kind of style, it could be very, it's
overwhelming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole technique that you're not used to doing.
Yeah, you're used to doing it like shooting it like a traditional movie, but no, we're going to shoot it like a television show.
Plus, the script changes. People like B. Arthur and they get hired, and all of a sudden, 1, he's kind of out of his element. 2, it's morphing into something that he didn't really that he didn't want to do.
So he goes and shoots the which is perfectly fitting for him.
Yeah.
I think he shoots the Jefferson Starship sequence. And I think he shoots the B. Arthur scene with her
he
singing.
shoots the cantina scene.
And then after that, he's kind of like, when he starts to see like this, the Wookiee set, they have this, I mean, they talk about how they only had like maybe $1 million to for this thing. And I think a lot of it went
Which
to like.
was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Then,
and I was going to say, it's for me, people's calling it cheap and all that. And I think they run out of money by the end of the special for like the whole ending sequence. I thought that treehouse interior was gorgeous.
Considering the movie Star Wars only cost like $11 million.
Yeah, so that's like
so you're doing a TV special.
That's like a tenth of So it's like I thought the inside is very well done for what it was.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fine.
But I mean, it ain't like the interiors are like the housing projects and like Good Times or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's like you're on another planet, so it's pretty cool. And then they have this sequence like they have these other world like they're. Nowadays, it's funny, we call them flat screen TVs, but they're calling them wall screens, so it's a very forward thinking.
So he ends up quitting. And
our director.
Yeah, the director ends up quitting. Lucas ends up kind of walking away from it.
Which is, see, there you go. Like, why would you walk away from
this? Because it's not turning out the way he wanted, so he just kind of washes his hands of it.
And I guess they're starting in full swing of pre-production because they're shooting this midsummer 78 in LA, and it's a hot summer, so you're having issues, they're saying, where no one thought about like the people in costumes. So the whole B. Arthur sequence when they're in the canteen, the people evidently they were feeding people oxygen and masks during this because people would overheat. They didn't do this in this point, so people like passing out left and right. The people who were dressed up as the Wookiees, they're like they can only work say like half hour to 45 minutes at a time, and they have to take their stuff off to like take a breather and hydrate. So they got behind schedule. And it was getting very hard. They just all these
so basically
logistics.
just takes a bad turn. Shit starts hitting the fan,
literally.
And they
and he
in an attempt to save it, they hire a new director, Steve Binder.
Yeah.
Who had done like TV specials. He's famous for doing the big
Elvis comeback,
the big famous 68 comeback special with Elvis Presley.
Yeah,
he had done a lot of TV specials. He went on to work on Pee-wee's Playhouse, be one of the producers of Pee-wee's Playhouse. So he comes in kind of like last minute.
Yeah,
and he has to make odds and ends of what's going on. So here's like the setup of like what's going on behind the scenes.
They're already in production. He's like he gets fed up the script. He's got to be there Monday morning, and he's like, "Fuck," they're already.
The
at least
set,
he's familiar with
the set. It doesn't have like a fourth wall. It's just like it's a real set. I mean, it's like they built it like a real tree, like a real house. Yeah. So there's no place to put the camera or the light.
It's basically like it's like you going to a location to film where traditionally like on a TV show, where the cameras are, there's no wall there. In this thing they actually built around that, so you have to. It gets very convoluted.
All the actors that come from that are in the movie, they come to do the Christmas special. They agree to do the Christmas special basically because they're either like contractually obligated or they feel some kind of loyalty
begrudgingly
towards George Lucas.
They're kind of
to partake in it.
They're kind of like convinced like, hey, look, we have another movie coming out in 2 years. We need to keep pushing this thing. Please be in it. So like Harrison Ford, he says he's contractually obligated. He couldn't get out of it. Mark Hamill says that, he was trying to do it at the time, but he thought it was a bad idea.
Also, there's a lot of speculation. There's about a lot of mystery around Mark Hamill's accident.
Yeah,
he looks kind of weird in this, and he's got a lot of fucking makeup on.
And I think his accident must have just happened, right?
And I think this is not that long after his accident. I think that's why he's got a lot of makeup on, and he looks
like he's like kind of like eyeliner, like punching his eyes,
just like a lot of like foundation. He looks very
like bronzer.
Yeah, it just seems he doesn't look as much. He doesn't look like Luke, and he looks way made over.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he's still in recovery from that car accident. But he partakes in it. He joins in, and even though he doesn't want to do it, apparently he's a bit of a trooper. Even though apparently Harrison Ford was very much on set. Like, okay, how long is this going to
Yeah,
take?
do you
Like,
wanna
let's
get my
do it.
lines,
Let's
you
get
know?
this going.
He's got a little shorter hair. It looks like he was probably, in the middle of like Force 10 to Navarone or Hanover Street. That's around that time of his career. And then Carrie Fisher doesn't want to do it, but she says, I'll do it if you let me sing a song. Because I guess, I don't know, at the time, maybe she was thinking of having a budding singing career.
I guess. I
You
don't
know,
know.
because everybody was doing that at the time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
If you look back then, like, Telly Savalas sang songs, Richard Harris had an album, so it's like,
So, I mean, behind the scenes, this is kind of just to set the stage of like what the story is for the show. The special, like, we're setting the table as to like this is the chaos that's
as well
happening behind
as
the scenes.
you bring it back Anthony Daniels as CP30, and you have some wild lines by James Earl Jones that people actually say also this is the first time he's billed as Vader, because I guess he wasn't billed in the original movie. Then what they do is, this is all shot on video because it's TV. They intercut it with stock footage from the movie that they just put bits out of the movie, and they repurpose scenes. They put new dialogue over it to keep it going. For like a lot of the stuff in the space, or like Darth Vader, like, we must find Chewbacca and his stop Earth Day.
It's as someone,
Earth Day, Life Day.
as someone that grew up like absolutely loving Star Wars and was watching it more times than I can count. Right before the B. Arthur scene, there's like some establishing shots of Tatooine, which is like little outtakes that they didn't use from the movie.
Yeah, there's
so
a deleted scene.
So it's kind of cool to see, like, oh, look at that. There's
Yeah,
like a little comedy thing going on. That
I wonder
didn't make it into the movie.
I wonder if people back then were even noticing it. There is a deleted scene that they put in where like there's a little person running and down the alleys of Tatooine, and like stops, and there's like this big giant foot come in the way, and then I think the little person either runs the other way or runs in between the feet.
Yeah.
And then I guess it was deemed that it's a little too comedic for the original movie, so they kept it out, but they put it in here, which is kind of cool.
So you get to see like a couple
nuggets.
of little nuggets.
And
like
I guess
that.
those were then later released on in Blu-ray as a supplemental. You get to see those scenes finally. So you have that. So we established their day-to-day life. You have a scene where you have like the Cirque du Soleil thing, and there's like this little thing where it's kind of like the hollow chest.
It's like the kid is being a brat. So Itchy, or the grandfather's like, sit down in front of the TV and shut up.
Yeah.
He puts it on. Like, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, cool.
And it's like a sequence of like, there's like uneven bars and some other weird things, and then it gets into it's very Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
And I guess at the time that's what a variety show, you'd have a dance number like that.
Sure, yeah.
And then we get introduced to Art Carney, my man who I
He's
love.
like a fix-it guy, right?
Yeah, I read that his character's kind of a precursor to Lando. He's like a gambler who also, he sells things. He has like a trading post that he sells to Wookiees. He's kind of like he's selling to like Indians if he was a cowboy, that kind of a thing. Yeah. And then the character eventually grew to become Lando Calrissian as we know him. But people see elements of Lando's core character in him. And he's a guy I love from The Honeymooners. And you see there's like, I think, two parts here where they kind of make references to The Honeymooners here, where he's talking to first when he's in like his general store and the Imperial guy comes in and he's showing him the doohickey. It's very much from the Chef of the Future episode of The Honeymooners of what he can do. Yeah. And then there's another scene when he's trying to stall them when he's at the treehouse later on. He's taking his time, and the Imperial guy's like, "Will you get on with it?" Because that was the big shtick where Norton would take very long and annoy Ralph Cramden. Will you get on? So you see a lot of that shtick, which I think is in there purposely because it's Art Carney. So he comes in and he's like a friend of the Alliance, but we find out that I guess the Empire knows that like Chewbacca and Han are trying to get home, so they put up like a no-fly zone.
Yeah, there's like do a blockade or some shit.
No ships are going to be entered. These are all like the big what do you call those? The
Star Destroyer?
No, not I'm sorry. Before you go to break, the T's are will they get away? So it's like like you have someone come on like, attention everyone, we're going to no one's is coming or leaving, and then they're like dun dun dun, and they go to commercial and they come back. So you have these problems like, are they going to be able to get through? And then like Art Carney's trying to tell they call Art Carney, and he's like I think I'm going to send Solo as in Han. We'll get through Chewbacca, those packages, the hairy packages you ordered,
hairy rug you ordered.
Yeah, is going to be coming Solo as in Han Solo, so it's it's a lot of that.
Wink, wink.
He says it like that. Get me? So we introduced and then also I was really liking the John Williams-esque filler music that they had in there.
Well, that's
I thought that was really cool.
It's interesting you say that because
it wasn't John Williams.
John Williams didn't do it.
Yeah.
Somebody was hired. His name was, let's see, I got it in my notes somewhere since music has become kind of my life, if I can find it.
But they have this really good music in there
Well,
that I thought was really...
yeah.
It's 70s. I mean, it really firmly has a foot in that 70s kind of feel of like the TV shows of the time, the Love Boat kind of like, or whatever that filler is in the background that you see in like Fantasy Island or whatever. But it definitely has the other foot firmly planted in the John Williams score.
Yeah, well, he also has to rearrange some of Williams' score for the television, because there's some of the themes still make their way in it. But
I loved it.
What I found really interesting is if you really listen to it, there's parts of it that are, to me, very reminiscent of what Williams ends up doing with E.T. with some of the melodies, which I was like, when I was first watching it, I was like, this is interesting, because if Williams did this, then maybe this is kind of where some of that stuff comes from. But he didn't even do it. But so there's little things that are, I guess, completely coincidentally, like melodically, very similar.
Yeah,
to
I think it's
E.T.
nice, and it's not. I didn't find it hokey at the time. I found it very, and it wasn't like say as dated as the Miko Star Wars soundtracks that they did. Like,
Yeah.
So I
like the score, and
I
they had two other people write the songs for it because there's actual songs. But
and also, since we're talking about a minute ago, the costuming and stuff, and how they're using original costumes and stuff from the original movie, they bring in a young Stan Winston to actually design the Chewbacca family costume, which is really cool. I saw him in the credits, and that's Stan Winston like Terminator and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I guess was he on Piranha maybe with James Cameron? Or,
yeah, I don't know if he did,
how early. I don't know that much about Stan Winston's early career, but he was brought on here to design those to at least the three principal Chewbacca and Wookiee outfits.
Yeah, I mean, some people from Lucasfilm and some of the guys that worked on the on Star Wars, they came in to kind of guide him to try to stay somewhat true.
Yeah.
To what a Wookiee would look like, but yeah, Stan Winston. So I mean, obviously, I think anybody that listens to the show knows who Stan Winston is.
I hope so.
But I mean,
if not, you better go ask somebody.
We ain't gonna tell you.
We ain't gonna tell you. That's a homework assignment. But yeah, so you have him in there, and then you have then meanwhile, like in the kitchen, Mala's trying to make dinner, and then there's like one of these skits where you have like Harvey Korman ends up playing like 3 roles in the thing.
Yeah.
And the first one's like a send up to like a Julia Childs type thing, and a lot of these skits, I feel like even for like a guy like Harvey Korman, he probably feels like they're falling flat.
Yeah.
It's almost like the old days, like vaudeville. You're doing that thing up on stage, and when the people aren't laughing, you're like, shit, I just got to get through this. And then it's like it's a skit where she's watching a cooking show and making what he's dressed up as a woman, like a Julia Child, but he's an alien. And then by the end of it, he has 4 arms and he's doing all this different stuff. So that's kind of funny. Then you have like this, I guess the Jefferson Starship. Does that thing happen first? No, I think Diane Carol scene comes up.
Yeah, okay.
And this is really disturbing because it takes a left turn this special, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
funny because it's Grandpa, too.
Yeah, the Empire comes over, and Art Carney comes over, because Art Carney's the one that gives them the machine.
Yeah, he brings stuff over, and he's like...
here's that thing you were looking for.
Yeah.
So, anyway, to get right into it, like basically Itchy, the grandfather of this, the old Wookiee, puts on like this virtual reality helmet.
Yeah, Art Carney brings this thing over. This is what you wanted, and then like you said, the Empire comes over and they're going like door to door in the entire sector. That's gonna take a while, And then they leave, and then Art Carney goes, "No, it's me. What's the password? Wookiee Chewbacca." He comes in and he gives them this thing, and then it's funny because like the Lumpy, the child, and Mala are like just in the other room. They're not even. It's like you think of like the senile old man who's just gonna like do anything when anybody's present. So like he's like he puts like you're saying he puts like almost like the virtual reality headset on. And then it's like it turns into like a porn sequence from like is he rubbing one out and he's gonna like they're right over there and he's like blowing a load.
I mean the stuff with like the like the holographic circus.
Oh, Circus Olay stuff.
Yeah. There's that stuff. I mean, these little like things. find like amazing
Yeah.
in the movie. I mean, say what you will. Like Dion expressed that he loved the movie. The show. I actually like it a lot too. The pacing of it is fucking awful. It takes so long,
and I think
to get anywhere.
It suffers from the era, and then on top of it suffering from the era, like we're saying, the pacing is bad. So pacing was so bad back then. On top of that,
it's like, but there are so many just like really weird things in it, like that I find it absolutely fascinating to watch. And so, like, I thought like the holographic circus thing and it was like well done. It was cool, And so like this is like the next one, and it opens and it's like it's like V'ger in the beginning. It's like totally fucking trippy.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden Diane Carroll comes
and she's like doing like very like Shirley Bassey she's singing like a very
but
Bondic
even before
song.
That she's talking to him
and she's like, yeah, touch me if you want to.
She's like groaning. She's like, like, I know what you want because I'm your fantasy.
Yeah, I'm here to please
and you're my fantasy. And
then there's cuts of like Grandpa like,
and she's all like, and she makes all these like sexual noises.
Yeah, and she's dressed like
and she's looking hot.
Yeah, but it's like, it's like she's the type of person where it's like, I sadly, I think I have to admit you'd be hard pressed for people nowadays to know who Art Carney or B. Arthur or Harvey Korman. I think you're hard pressed to find people our age who are even going to know who Diane Carroll is.
Yeah.
So she comes on and does this weird thing, and it to me, like I said, it turns into like to a Bond-esque kind of like Diamonds Are Forever song, but it's very suggestive, and it's so odd to be in a children's primetime CBS holiday special.
It is absolutely bizarre.
It's a complete left turn. It's completely suggestive that like Grandpa is like getting off in the living room in the middle of the daytime.
I mean, she makes like sex noises.
Yeah, she's like moans. It's like
shit.
Donna Summers as "You Can Ring My Bell" or "Do It to Me Again and Again." Love to love you, baby.
Song aside, I'm just saying, like even leading up to it, like the way she introduces, the way the music number is introduced,
very erotic,
with her talking directly to Itchy.
Yeah,
it's like you would think that you would never guess that a song's coming up. You would think that she's going to get naked and it's going to be like,
like Playboy Channel,
like
Playboy After Dark or something. And then you cut to Itchy. Itchy's one of those big smile, on
like
his
one
face.
of those POV porns, where it's like it's just a shot of her like blowing fucking Grandpa. You would
Grandpa
expect
Wookie.
the way she talks leading up to it. It's all about how like I'm your fantasy and I know what you want, and she's like moaning and making sex noises.
And you're cutting the reversals of Itchy, and he's like a smile from ear to ear, like, with his headset on.
So like. The fact that it's a song, it's like, okay, but it's like you would never, like I'm saying, the setup is like this is going someplace really.
And I think they've
strange.
even said they're like, yeah, that's kind of like soft. It was kind of like an innuendo, a softcore porn. It's like who agreed to this? How would you ever? What demographic are you trying to adhere to? Or you just like we want to keep the creepy old
that
men,
alone,
this
special is amazing.
Yeah,
I don't, just for the fact that exists.
They're like you just picture like again our we always say the smoky boardroom with people with cigars. Like what do we need here? Why don't we have the Grandpa put on some sort of face mask and get off to some black girl who's singing a song? It's like it's like what do you? I don't understand. And they're like, that's a good idea. Yeah. Who's hip right now? Diane Carroll. Put that, B. Arthur.
I mean, we're coming out. This is the disco towards the end of the disco.
Yeah, everyone's wearing Jerry Curl Soul Glow, and it's like
she's all like in sparkly.
She looks like
absolutely out there.
It's insane.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's just like it blows your mind. You're like, what the hell is going on here? And then by the end of it, I think a Grandpa like takes his.
This is like
one of those shit off.
Look, I was never, Dion knows. I was never like a drug guy. But this is one of those things. Like I could only when they talk about like you got to see 2001 like all fucked up. Like I can only imagine that like this special, and I'm not condoning. I'm not saying you should do this, but I can only imagine that this special is like fucking amazing when you're stoned off your ass. Yeah, because it is so out there.
I don't know. I can't even begin to I don't know how. It just perplexes me that all this is all in one special.
Yeah.
You get through that dance number, and then you have, like you said, Carney comes with the supplies, and then we go to where else are we going here? But then And then there's a knock on the door, and they think it's going to be Art Carney again, and suddenly it's the Empire again, in a very Nazi-ish way. They come in, and they're gonna. It's very like, Jews in the ghetto. The Nazis come in. We're gonna search your flat. You have nothing to do about it, and we're gonna wait here. Are you hiding Chewbacca? And then they're real mean to the kid.
Yeah, like break his Bantha doll. And
yeah, they just trash his room.
Break all his toys.
They just trash his room.
Assholes.
Yeah, they're like, so it's like, so then at that
I wonder
point,
if they should have sold that big Bantha doll, that big fucking thing.
That would have probably sold a lot. That's probably maybe still on the
sand people animal thing that they wrote around. I think was cool.
It's hilarious. You think that they actually then in the world that Wookiees, the Wookiees like, hey, let's make a.
Well, I mean, you could go to
and get like an elephant.
Yeah, you can get a stuffed elephant.
Yeah, so I guess it's the same kind of thing.
Any animal, you go to. Yeah. I don't even know if FAO Schwartz still exists. I heard they were going to close, but you could go there and get like practically life-size fucking stuffed animals of anything.
Yeah, so he comes in. One of the stormtroopers completely breaks the kid's thing. They go up to his room. They trash his room, and
fucking asshole.
And then you have then there's another sequence there with they turn on maybe the wall screen, and then Jefferson's starship shows up.
Yeah, that's a music video.
Yeah, and
I think Art Carney puts it on for him to distract him.
He's
or
like,
something.
oh yeah, he puts the head.
Why don't you check this out?
Yeah, the head. It's actually hilarious. Yeah, the head Empire guy. He sits down. He's like, you're gonna like this, and then he starts like going along with the beat. And he's like, yeah, I am gonna like this. And it's one of those things where you can like put anything in front of him. Like you could be watching like a girl getting raped. He's like, yeah, this is great. But it's like Jefferson Starship, and again, I'm not too up on Jefferson Starship, but that's post Jefferson Airplane, and I don't think Grace Slick at the time is no longer with the band.
No.
So you have a male singer, I don't know his name, but I recognize the guitar player who I think maybe just died from Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah, he just died a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you see him, and they're all like in this crazy.
So Jefferson Starship, they sing a song called "Light the Sky on Fire."
Yeah,
and apparently that song ends up popping up like on a greatest hits.
Yeah, like on a gold album, you can get that.
But it's a different mix.
So does that mean that they wrote it for this?
I don't know. But they might. Well, I doubt that. The other songs definitely were written for this. But the Dion Carroll song is called "This Minute Now."
Yes.
So just turn back so that we
but you see this minute now, it's very sexual, So then, Jefferson Starship does this big elaborate scene, and they have it's pretty cool. They do
it's a pre-MTV music video.
Yeah, with some cool effects with what do you call those, neon lights kind of, and he's singing into a microphone that looks like just almost like a lightsaber-ish kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And it's the entire freaking video, so it's 5 or 6 minutes, and it keeps cutting back to the guy watching. He's into it, tapping his finger, and then when he's done, Art Carney's like, I told you, he's like, yeah, I did like it. And then they jump to again, you have more Vader ADR stuff, and then we hit this animation. And I think that was the thing where they want again they wanted to have this kid settle down because the kid's room got trashed. Lumpy.
Yeah, they were up.
Or no, I'm not. They lumpy. It's lumpy. Yeah.
It was to my recollection, we just watched it, but already it's very forgettable, unfortunately. Yeah. I feel like they're we're gonna go trash your room, so sit down.
Yeah, sit down and just
sit down and keep your rock.
Yeah.
So while they're searching the house, he sits down with what was it said? Looks like essentially one of those late 70s, early 80s electronic football games.
Yeah.
It's like the red dots, but so the screen it ends up being like a little viewing machine.
Yeah, and he views this.
So he watches this cartoon,
this 9-minute sequence,
which oddly, stars his dad and all his dad's friends.
Yeah, oddly enough, a little send up. So I wonder if it's something he invented with his. They don't really explain it, but I wonder if it's something it's his vision that's coming to life because it's a cartoon, or maybe they could have explained it away with a sentence it makes your imagination come to life, and then.
But since they don't speak English,
it very becomes like Harry and the Hendersons.
But the animated part of this movie, it's 10 minutes. It's the only part of this thing that everybody universally seems to think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's the only thing that actually got re-released. It was on a supplemental material for a Blu-ray release of Star Wars. It saw the light of day. Aside from this, it was done by a Toronto company, which we just talked about last month for the Batman cast, called Nelvana, and they're the people that Warner had to buy the rights back from of the Batman because they had bought it in the early mid '80s because their Nelvana ended up doing Droids and Ewoks, the TV show.
Yeah, they later do the Droids and Ewoks cartoons because Lucas was happy with what they did. They also did, they did all kinds of shit, but like in the '80s, people, our age they did Care Bears, and I think they even did Care Bears the movie.
Yeah,
they did Strawberry Shortcake.
Because I guess from what we heard, CBS was like, why don't you use somebody local like Hanna-Barbera, someone like a studio? And as I guess Lucas at this point was still, making decisions, he said, no, I'd rather go with something more independent.
Well, I mean, he's coming out of Lucas is coming out of like Coppola's, compound of artists, Zoetrope, which was very much like an independent for the artists. And even though, Fox owned Star Wars and stuff, for the most part, Lucas even, the making of Star Wars was kind of independent, and Lucas, up until he sold Star Wars, was still very much an independent filmmaker. So he was very much about didn't want to use an LA company like the Run. He wanted to go with a smaller independent company.
And it would have had a weird look. I mean, if you had a guy like a Hanna-Barbera or Warner Brothers, you would have got that inherent late 70s Scooby-Doo-ish or whatever Hanna-Barbera was doing at the time kind of a look.
Yeah.
And they go with this company, and you think about it, at the time, there was never really any precedent. There was comics happening at the time, Star Wars comics that I read like the first 15 issues of that kind of try to fill in what's happening between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. They introduce some characters. There's a rabbit character, which I don't remember the name of, like Star Hopper or something that's in there, and it becomes like a very like Kurosawa like Seven Samurai. There's like a long kind of a storyline there of like the first 10 issues. So there was stuff going on, in other formats for them, but there was never any animation for this. So you have this completely new look by this company doing it, and they kind of modeled it off of the French gentleman. I think his name is Mobius, who did heavy metal. It has that heavy metal.
He did a lot of stuff. He was a French artist, and
Jean Mobius Godard, maybe.
And
we're terrible.
I would
names,
say
sorry.
I would say Gerard.
Gerard.
That's how I would, but I don't know.
I am dyslexic, so yes, I'll go with yours.
But yeah, apparently that was Lucas's request, from what I read, that he wanted it to have that.
Yeah,
that look. He liked that Mobius look, and it's also very kind of Ralph Bakshi a little bit, the way the animation is. I mean, it's a very dated 70s animation.
And I hear 50-50 of all the people who love this from this special. Then a lot of people, half of them don't like it. They say it's dated. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how it kind of the animation actually is. And it kind of also reminds me in a way of like the early 80s English, like remember Banana Man or freaking Danger Mouse, that kind of look, or Count Duckula. Like it has that kind of a feel with the colors, not the animated movements. Look, but it's completely unique, and it's very much like we said, heavy metal. Like it's very unique at the time, and I guess heavy metal was big at the time or coming out. So like, hey, let's have it look like that, and it introduces, this.
Very importantly, this is the introduction of Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, which is, and then we brought him up as Gary Johnston.
Joe Johnston. Gary Johnston, someone completely different. Joe Johnston was, he just directed, what did we have? He did Rocketeer. He directed Rocketeer.
So what we learn about in between the movies is they wanted to have a character or two come out and still, like this special was all about, kind of promote, keep the franchise going. And they wanted to have a kind of a new character that can show up at events, at parades, at festivals, and walk around. And they had this kind of unused stormtrooper design that they had made. So they invented this whole backstory that they actually shot a 10-minute black and white video in one of the guy's backyard, the production designer's backyard, of
just like explaining the costume or what it is.
What basically, it does.
He invented. Joe Johnston designed this with McQuarrie. Designs this
the Ralph McQuarrie,
for what I think they call a shock trooper.
Yeah,
and it was supposed to be they were like the elite special forces of the stormtroopers. They're like the Green Beret or the Navy SEALs,
like the Delta Force
of the stormtroopers, and so that. Those stormtroopers never ended up getting used, And so they have this costume, and so the black and white footage is very much just like a all white stormtrooper type outfit. They end up taking that outfit,
and I think the outfit itself is black and white, like even though the footage isn't color.
Yeah. But no, you can tell it's like a white, like the stormtroopers are just like white and black. And
but they wanted to use this guy and have him to start promoing the next. He's going to be in the next movie. Yeah. They want to start having him start doing appearances and stuff like that. You know.
So they know that they're going to put because Lucas really liked the design. He just had no use for it.
And they come up with his backstory
in terms of stormtrooper stuff. So they're like, we're going to use this. So Lucas, is like, put this character, the character that looks like this in the thing because we're going to use it in the next movie. And so that's how like Boba Fett ends up getting put into this animation.
Yeah, he's like this main thing, and it's really it's. I find that world awesome. Like I like the whole 9-minute sequence of them getting to this planet, and then like him riding this thing, and then them going to like this other town, which I find very much in the vein of like Judge Dredd or the Sleaze Brothers, like a comic book series from the '80s, like that. That 80s Blade Runner-ish,
it's
dirty
also,
world.
It's also very much like some of the, there's the episode where a Firefly.
Oh yeah, okay.
Where they go, and I think it might be when they end up Mal ends up getting a casket with his friend, but Jane ends up opening his. They go to get their mail basically. Jane gets the hat.
Yeah.
And it's just like a marketplace, like very like fast moving.
Yeah,
it reminds me of that a lot too. But yeah, I mean Blade Runner esque. I mean it's that kind of futuristic,
like Fifth Element, but in the sense of like it's dingy and grimy, and it's cool. And then like you have Vader shows up in it, and it's it's James Earl voicing Vader, and then You have Mark Hamill voicing his lines. You have Harrison Ford voicing lines there too, doing ADR work, and then it's 9 minutes, and then it's like Boba Fett makes his escape, and then that's the end of him. But it's kind of like he's a mysterious character. We find out he's a bounty hunter. It sets it up. You don't know whose side he's on because he's helping them. He's helping Vader, but then he says, "We'll see you later, my friends." No. There's a classic line which he says like, "See you soon, my friends," or I forget. There's a line, but
catch on the flip side.
Yeah. I'll see you soon, assholes. But he says a very famous line that like people now think. And then I think in 2007 or so, what we see end up happening is that they do release a toy. I think I don't know if it's Kenner or somebody releases that look as a toy.
Yeah.
Of his look as that because he's kind of like blue. He's a little different looking in this than he is in the what he ends up ultimately being visually. Yeah. I mean, aesthetically, it's the exact same suit, but just the color wise are a little more green.
I mean, it's a cartoon rendition of it.
So we have that in the middle of this, and
he's voiced by an actor named Don Franks, who. He's one of those guys when you look up his IMDb page. He's got 1 million credits. He's been in every television show from the 60s into the 70s. Started doing a lot of voice work. He voiced a lot of the stuff that this company did. Mad Balls. When they did the Mad Balls cartoon show in the 80s, that company did that.
He got like a start on vaudeville, so it's like he's an older guy by this point. When he's doing all this, a lot of those guys, it's like the gentleman who.
But he's in like My Bloody Valentine as the sheriff.
It's like
he's in all kinds of shit.
The darn guy who we talk about in Neverending Story, who did like the voice of like Falcor and that guy who ends up showing up in the Ghostbusters cartoon, not the real Ghostbusters, but the other. He's the bad guy. You blithering dolt! You get a lot of these older actors who once they get comfortable and they that's how they retire. They just do voiceover work, and he's one of them. So yeah, and it ends up being a really interesting segue in the middle of this special. You have this little.
I love
it. Oh, I thought it's great.
I love the look. I mean, I'm a sucker for. There's this weird thing where like, I'm not necessarily. There are people that just like cartoons, and I think we had this discussion when we did Tombstone, where I was like, I don't just like, to me it's, I judge everything kind of the same. I either like it or I don't like it. I wouldn't, someone likes cartoons. I think I think you tend to be that way, and it's not a wrong thing. I think I'm probably in the more weird area where like you're a Western fan and you like animated movies. And to me, it's like I like I judge them all. Like it bothers me to no end. I don't know why. I realize it's kind of illogical, but it bothers me to no end that there's an animated movie category in the Oscars now. Because it's like, why? It should be judged on the criteria that every other movie is judged on.
Yeah.
Like, it should just, it's a movie.
It's funny you say that because I just watched an American Experience documentary on Walt Disney. Great documentary if everyone's get it. That came on PBS, and they talk about, like, he went through all that trouble, which we talked in one of the Disney casts we did about him getting Snow White done. And, like, he not fooled them all, but he showed them all. Like, look, I can do a serious animated movie that's going to make people cry as opposed to make people laugh.
Yeah.
He got it done. And then that year, he thrilled and surprised everybody. He had Clark Gable crying in the premiere. He's like, I did it. And then what happens is the Oscar.
Well, there's like, there's people that, love everything Pixar. And to me, it's like, it's okay. I'll point things wrong. It's like, well, what do you want? It's a cartoon. I was like, yeah, exactly. But no, it's not just a cartoon. It's a movie.
Yeah, but with this.
And so I have a deep love for animation.
Well, let me finish my point. So Disney that year, the Oscar nominations come out, and he doesn't get nominated, and he's like, and they give him like an honorary award, for best good work, and he's like, fuck that, it should be nominated, like you're saying, alongside. It's a body of work. Why should it be just like the Special Kid Award? You get to carry the flag, or something like. So it's like, I agree with you. Yeah, you're right. It should. I mean, maybe if it's like a short film.
Yeah, well, short has a category.
Yeah,
and it should an animated short should be. A short film should be.
Yeah.
Who cares? Because then
medium it is.
To me, you get like. Granted, animation is not necessarily a genre because it's different because you can have an animation that's a horror or
adult or children oriented or comedy or whatever,
or any kind of genre.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like you start getting into the weird things where it's like best Western of the year, best comedy of the year. So I'm a little bit picky when it comes to that kind of stuff. And to me, I like the movies I like, and so there's animated stuff I love. I'm huge. I still to this day, I said one of my favorite directors of all time was Chuck Jones.
Yeah.
Who wasn't known for doing features. He did shorts. He did animated shorts, but I think they're brilliant, and so he's one of my favorite filmmakers.
Well, that's something that they teach too. When you go to film school, go check out like stuff like Chuck Jones because you'll see ways you never thought of, like of shooting a scene or placing a camera.
Well, that's when you're learning about directing, they do encourage you to watch animation because that's one of the only places where there's no limitations because you can draw it anywhere. The quote unquote camera can be anywhere in an animation. So like it helps you start to develop an idea of like thinking outside the box so that you could develop your own visual style. But so I do love animation, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a diehard animation fan. But this is definitely the kind of like weird looking, I like a lot of the Ralph Bakshi stuff, like that 70s, and then when you get into that like rotoscoping in the 70s of like Fire and Ice, which is also very long and has pacing issues,
and the Lord of the Ring movies.
But like there's something about that look and that feel that even though it's kind of before my time, I feel very nostalgic for
There's a really weird, since you're talking about rotoscoping, there's a really weird short video with, I forget the name of the song, that of all people, Tom Waits did a song of his, and they rotoscoped it, and they credit it. It's not the first rotoscoping ever done, of course, but it's the first rotoscoping they did for that company that did the American Pop or the Lord of the Ring movies. And they shot this video, and I think it's like Annie's Back in Town or something like that. And it's a rotoscoped video of him like against a light post, and a girl comes up, and she's like teasing him, and he's with a cigarette, and it's like, and that was like a style back then. And like I love rotoscope shit. Like that's like
even Disney used some of it.
They used that back in the day. Even like, or you have like Filmation did it with like He-Man and stuff like that. It was a good way to do it to make things look semi-realistic.
There's that series of the serials, the Superman serials.
Yeah, the
not like the George Reeves ones, and not the Fleischer cartoons, but there was a live action one.
Yeah. The ones that were the shorts that were like in the theaters.
Yeah. Where it would be a live action guy, and then when he'd go take off.
Yeah, he turned into a
suddenly
cartoon.
He would turn into like a rotoscoped cartoon.
Yeah, but it was seamless though.
And that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was seamless, and then they would
even to this day I watch it, I'm like, holy fuck, that is such an awesome idea. Like visually, it's so fucking cool.
And it was black and white, so you couldn't really tell because I think color would give it away a little more, but like black and white, he just jumps, and then all of a sudden it's rotoscoped into and it happens so quick you can't even really tell. And it's like it's fucking awesome. You're right. It is really. And then he lands, it's like da da da.
It was kind of genius.
Yeah, at the time. time.
think
It's
about
you know,
doing
as
that.
opposed to like when we were talking about the Rocketeer a couple months ago, like with the Rocket Man cereals, they just put like a dummy on like a string in this. You know, that's kind of looks like
The
I
rocket.
yeah, the Rocket.
Where is the rocket?
God bless him. So we Rondo Hatton reference. So we get back to
Not even.
Yeah, not even
A reference to a Rondo Hatton
yeah,
reference.
a reference to a Rondo Hatton reference. Luthor. So we get back to the other half of this special, and we have another appearance by Harvey Korman, and this time I think he's doing a oh, what the heck? See, you're right.
It's like a commercial.
Is it the commercial he does?
He's like doing a commercial for that thing that the kid ends up building.
Yes. Okay. So
Unfortunately, there are parts of it where it's like you just kind of start to daydream.
it's like
or
poor,
you forget.
you know, you
mean,
can tell he's like these guys are putting their all into it. It's just like these jokes aren't hitting. And then it goes to the Life on Tatooine scene, and they're in the cantina, and
I found this part kind of confusing. The Tatooine.
you mean
Tatooine.
in the
Like, what is it? Like, what are they watching? Because it's like, at first I'm like, okay, it's some kind of weird like Tatooine soap opera.
Yeah, but then it's really her.
But then it's like, then the Empire comes on. It's like, we're putting on a curfew.
Oh, and then they have to leave too. So it's
And all of a sudden it's like, like in the beginning, I'm like, okay, life, like, you know, like, what, I don't know.
it's like a live reality show. They're watching
Yeah.
a live reality show, and who knew that B. Arthur?
of Tatooine. But at first I just assumed because it was the 70s, I figured it was like Days of Our Lives
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Tatooine.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
life
it's-
on Tatooine.
But it's actually like, it's like a live reality show, and it's like B. Arthur runs the cantina.
But the explanation is hilarious because the explanation is like, we're going to bring you now to life on Tatooine. It's basically, the explanation is something like, so that you can feel better about your own life because you realize how shitty Tatooine
Yeah, these people are and what they're dealing with. And we go to the very bar that we know and love from the first movie.
Yeah, so apparently she's like the owner or bartender.
B.
of-
Arthur, I think she's like, I felt like she's the owner. She's like pre-Guinan from 10 forward. She's playing the Whoopi, Goldberg.
She's like, fucking drink up
Yeah.
so you can buy more drinks, you asshole.
Yeah, she's like really into the freaking thing, and she's got all these one-liners that are hilarious. Yeah, I'll talk if you're gonna get me talk about getting a drink, and she's real hard. Then you have Harvey Korman's third appearance, and this really freaked me out. I have this weird, I don't know. I have this weird thing about. The idea of like the eyeball in the hand, or where stuff doesn't belong, and then when he's pouring stuff in his mouth's in his head, it scares me.
Yeah. He has like a volcano head.
Yeah, so he pours
But
his
that's where he
drinks in
drinks
his
from.
head.
He doesn't drink through his mouth. He pours liquid into the top
Yeah,
of his head.
it's and how they did it. It must have been Stan Winston again. It works. So and she's looking cool. She's got the long hair, and then. Like she's trying to deal with this very cantankerous crowd, and we have the original band. This dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
they're
Cantina
there.
band.
Yeah, they're there.
And all the characters.
Everybody's there. That's when she calls
even
Guido.
like Hammerhead and Guido.
She's talking to Guido. She calls Guido.
I think the walrus guy is in there. Everybody.
She calls Guido, what did I say, Ludlow, and then she's talking to the Hammerhead too. Everybody shows up, everybody's there, and then like the Empire says curfew, everyone's got to fucking go home, and then
Well, serve their kind.
then you realize how dangerous this is for a woman like that because no one's listening to her. So she breaks into this song, which suddenly
Basically the Empire comes on and says curfew, everybody's leaving.
Because-
she's trying to tell everybody
and nobody wants to go. They all start like fucking banging. They're like, and then you realize this is a pretty people dying. They're
the haven of whatever.
It's a den of ill repute with people who doing the parsec. You'll be dead.
There's the way,
Alec Guinness says it.
yeah. Well, he's so
A lot of
go to Mos Eisley. It's whatever.
Yeah, he says when he walks into the thing, he's like.
But
yes.
even like when they're looking at it, he calls it something.
It's like the den
but
of
then
ill
they
repute
walk
or
in.
something.
He's like, I don't. My friend doesn't like you.
And I don't like you either. So she's trying to get them all to leave, and she breaks into the song. And what's the song called? You don't need to leave. It's just
Good night,
but don't not goodbye.
not goodbye.
And it is completely misplaced in this, but I loved it, and it's written for her for this, and I guess that's why she.
I mean, she doesn't have the best voice ever, but I
No, but
agree that
it's-
I like the song because what they do is
It's like a Kurt Weill, like Reeperbahn, like that German. It's like that. It's like the Fiddler on the Roof, like that.
Yeah.
It's like
But what they do brilliantly is they slow down. They slow down the Cantina Band song.
Yeah. and she starts singing over it.
And so when she's not singing, like the little fills in between when you're singing are the melody of the Cantina song.
But
it's kind of like this brilliant.
They arrange it into this
arrangement
like
of it.
three-penny opera, like Kurt Weill kind of like like a Jewish folk. You know, that ethnic. You know, we've got to ding the time, da 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 ding da da. You know, and I loved it. And like you said, she doesn't have the best voice, but she's doing her all. She looks great with the long hair, and it's who knew that they had this ethnicity on Tatooine.
No, I agree. It's a good song. And even like watching it, I was like, you know what? I should maybe cover this song with my band.
Yeah, I was like
my own, because I love that in between the verses, it's like, dun, 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 dun,
you need to do it. You need to find like I almost felt like she needed like an accordion. Like this is going to be like Marlena Dietrich up there, like or like Ida Pedoff, like one more time.
But it was a brilliant way to arrange the familiar Cantina song that we know, into like this more ethnic, like you're saying, this like oompa,
like the whatever you call that, that Jewish folky kind of a. I'm sure there's a name for that, Russian pre-war, Ottoman Empire.
I agree. I like this song a lot.
It's hilarious that we're finding all these. We're like, this was great. And this is great. Well,
that's the thing. I mean, that's why I said I kind of prefaced it that we're probably going to be the only people that ever like discuss this with any kind of like love for it.
We got to, because
yes, it's. What's the point of sitting here and like just like pointing out the same flaws that everybody like? Yeah, okay, it's flawed. Like we agree, like the pacing of this thing.
But they wanted to sell toys. They wanted to keep it in.
They could make this. They could do this story in half the time.
Yeah, this is an hour too long. I completely agree.
It's totally an hour too long. But okay, this is the hand we're dealt. But watching it, like like you said, like there's stuff about it that is genuinely good.
It's fun,
or at the very least, fucking weird. Yeah. And as I've stated, I'm sure
becomes intriguing
on this cast. Weird goes a long way with.
Yeah, and you know what?
Like the porn itchy.
and if you take away the porn aspect for a minute of this Christmas special, I have to say I see where they're going with this. This was for me. It's like a warm. I may watch this again at some point. Like, I mean, I'm not every year. This ain't gonna become like my freaking Charlie Brown Christmas special. But it's like I understand what they were going for. It's warm. I mean, maybe because I like Art Carney, Harvey Korman, and B. Arthur. Like, I find like it's like comforting. You see, it's like old friend. You sit this on. It's fun. It's nice to know there's worlds like this.
I will admit, it is very odd casting,
completely,
to put these actors.
And I think they even thought like, why are you casting me? Okay, if you want
Star what?
Yeah, I mean, B. Arthur even says like, I only did it because she said like her youngest daughter at the time was such a fan of the first Star Wars movie. She said, sure, I'll do it. But that's how things happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Look,
that's how Willy Wonka got made. Who was I forget the director said like you should go do this book. Rolled down. That's how we wouldn't have had Willy Wonka. The Gene Wilder movie had not. Go check out our Willy Wonka podcast. If that producer's daughter or the director's daughter was not like, I like this Roald Dahl book, do this, Daddy.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Or even the same thing we talked about Night Stalker, Dark Shadow, same thing. Yeah. The kid was like, the 8-year-old's like, if your soap opera is dying, put vampires in it.
Hey,
come here.
Why'd you put a vampire in there?
Yeah, in that soap opera.
For all its flaws, and we're not even through it yet, talking about it. It is fucking bizarre. Yeah. It is weird. It is a time capsule like no other thing, and for that reason alone, I find it very entertaining and interesting. And so the
back
B.
half
Arthur's,
of this.
so the B. Arthur's song again. The scene seems very long to me,
but
I'm with you. I like the song. I was even like, I wonder if I should cover the song with my band.
Well, people
like,
get
who
it.
the hell would understand?
But I think you need to get someone. That's like you have someone come in who's an accordion player or a violinist, and they'll play up that ethnic part for just. We're gonna have I don't know, Joe Schmuck come up and he's gonna play. Artie, Shoemaker, and he's gonna come up and do this, and then you do the song, and I bet you no one will get the reference.
The rest of it, whatever. There's you got the asshole.
Well, kind of wraps up there where they're still
stormtroopers.
The stormtroopers
they
are
get
still in the
tricked
house.
into leaving from the kid. I mean, I don't even know how.
Yeah, the stormtroopers are still in the house. Then all of a sudden, they come back and there's a fight that ensues. Then all of a sudden, Han and Chewie show up.
most of the stormtroopers leave because the kid tricks them with the toy that he sees Harvey Korman building.
Yeah.
He ends up using it to have the voice like, report back to base immediately. Report back to base immediately.
Yeah,
so majority of the people leave except for one trooper stays to kind of stand watch.
And the kid fucks it up, and it goes on a loop, and he's like, "What?" And he hears it upstairs, and he goes up and discovers it, and that's when Han shows up with Chewbacca.
They go outside to the deck.
Yeah,
the front porch of this treehouse. Who knows how fucking high up?
It's thousands of feet high. And at the beginning of the special, the kid goes outside because he's a little pissed off, as a little kid does, and
he's walking on the railing.
Yeah,
just like a little kid would.
Yeah, looking down, and he's like, it's like 5 times the size of the Empire State Building. Who knows how high this?
When
tree
I was
is.
little, my grandmother owned a motel in Wildwood, New Jersey. And next to the hotel, she also owned this house, which was split up into like units. So there was front doors in several places. There was an upstairs unit. There was a downstairs unit. So you could have like 4 families living in a house that had a kitchen and stuff, not just the motel.
Yeah.
And one floor was always just like nobody ever lived in. That was where we stayed when we went. But from the top floor, there was like this awning roof thing. And me and my cousin, we're talking like 5 years old, used to jump off the roof of that house.
Wow.
Onto the lawn, which now, and as an adult, doesn't seem that high. You know, you could probably almost reach like the gutters of it. But when you're a little kid, and you're only like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know, it's a big drop.
Yeah.
And so like kids do stupid things.
Yeah,
so him like walking on the railing of like this treehouse.
But
I was like, fucking kids are so stupid.
But then we find out how like fragile that railing is, because like I think either Han or Chewie punches the Stormguard. You get the Wilhelm scream. Ah! And it's like, whoa, that wasn't safe. That's not there at all.
It's one of those things where. You know, they tried not to. You know, it's like the shot. Like it's like the Han shooting first thing. They try not to make it that he just like killed this guy, but it's like something happens and the gun gets dropped and this guy just like falls through this railing.
Yeah, the balsa wood railing. And he just falls to his death.
Just falls to his death, and then
you get that Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, this guy just like completely falls. Han and Chewie walk in. And the family's like, like worried that it's the stormtroopers. And Han's big line after this is like, "It's okay, everybody. He's gone."
Yeah. And then immediately they get a call from their superior, and Art Carney's like, "I know how to play this." And Art Carney's like, he just robbed me for all, and he took off, and that's the end of it. And they're gonna be like, "Okay, completely believable. Thanks very much,
Art Carney.
Thanks, Art Carney." And away we go. So it's like, okay. And then it's really weird to think like, Harrison Ford, Art Carney all hanging out, and then then we have the ending sequence of
it's
the
weird
Life Day.
Just because we're going to get to the ending sequence where everybody is. It's just worth mentioning in a little fucking like side note that we're introduced to Luke and Leia and Art and C-3PO like earlier.
Oh, yeah.
In like Mala's looking. She's calling all of his friends.
Yeah.
Like, where the hell's my husband?
Yeah, where's my husband? You out drinking with my husband? And she calls. Yeah, she calls Leia,
Luke, and Luke's there with R2, and he's like, he's not here yet. Well, maybe it has to do with blockade.
And that's even really awkward. He stands up. He's like, "Hi." What? It's all very.
And then Leia is like, he's not there yet. So we do it. We see Luke and Leia
on the wall screen.
On the wall screens.
So at the very end, they all end up showing up, and they have this sequence of like the actual Life Day festival.
So Life Day happens.
It's Life Day,
and it is like, what?
And I think they realize
what is this?
They realize they ran out of budget. They have no more money for the budget. They don't know what to do, and as well as to have as many Wookiees as they want, they don't have the costumes. So I think
they just basically ran out of money.
Yeah, so I think they realized, fuck it, we'll put them all in red robes. It's going to look very much like the end of Logan's Run, where they're going to that carousel, and then they're going to use like the licensed Wookiee masks that are probably in the stores.
Yeah.
And they're all long shots, and then they just do kind of like late 70s, 80s TV trickery with like double exposure, where you see all these different.
It's like rudimentary like green screen.
Yeah, and they're walking all around.
It was blue screen back then.
Yeah, and they're walking like you see all these Wookiees walking around in robes, and they start this sequence.
Well, it is out there, which is another reason why I love this thing, because it is so bizarre.
Well, I like the idea. For me, it's like I get Life. It's cool. Life, like then Leia shows up, and then they're all there
before they even get there. Like they get in a line and they walk through space.
Yeah, they walk up this weird.
It's like they're
keep Christmas with you all through. And it's like they all.
But they're not. There's no land.
No,
it's
that's
like
why
they're walking through space into a void towards a bright star, and they walk into. I mean, you have to see it.
It's real far out.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Chong should be describing.
Yeah,
hey man, and then they're gonna walk through space, man, and then they walk towards the star,
and it goes.
And when they get there, all their loved ones are there, man.
Hey, give me that. Let me hit that, man. Let me hit that.
So this is like this, parade. What do they call it?
Like a ceremony. A parade.
Yeah, but there's a word for it where they walk and they go and they enter this star, and when they get there,
they're like in their
they're at the living tree.
Yeah, the
tree of life.
Yeah, tree of life. Very much like the Songs of the Key of Life Stevie Wonder album thing.
So they get to the tree of life, but the tree of life is like in this, weird trans-dimensional.
Yeah, it's weird. They're like in this cavern tunnel, and then they said at the end of it, we had no fucking money. We didn't know what to do, so the director's like, go
just get candles.
Yeah, go buy every candle you can find in like Burbank, and they realized he said, I think he did, like you said, television, but we did like a Victor Borg special where he said it's very effective if you could just put fucking candles around a black soundstage. It's gonna look great.
Yeah, it just looks like stars. It's like twinkling stars.
And it was cool. I mean, and I think it's very effective for what they're trying to do. And so you have all these.
Who knows what they were trying to do?
You have
it makes a fucking weird.
You have like
sequence.
Every Wookiee from like Kashyyyk there in these red robes, and then all of a sudden, this is where I get funny. You have the entire original cast show up, with the exception of Alec Guinness. You have like Han, R2D2 shows up. You have Leia shows up. You have Luke shows up, and then, which is funny to me, is like Leia starts like talking about like thank you for inviting us, and then she starts to address the Chewbaccians, Wookiees, and she's like, it's good. So it's like our foreign dignitary. You take Obama, say, going over to like England and saying like, thank you for inviting us here. It is so nice to be part of your ceremony. Let us all cheers. But then she starts singing a song, and it's like, it's almost like, again, you have like Obama starts singing like long, like God fear the Queen. It's like, why is Leia singing their song? Is it awkward? Are they like, why is this bitch singing? Like, is she supposed to sing the song? Yeah. Is that part of the ceremony? Or is it like one of the situations where the suspension of disbelief is that like she's singing the song in the scene? I'm overthinking this.
Yeah. Well, she does kind of give like the Life
she gives like
Day speech.
Yeah, and then she starts singing the song.
And then she sings the Life Day song, which is set to the theme of the Star Wars, kind of.
Yeah.
Another instance where they rearrange.
It's like the remember Star Trek, the original series. It had lyrics to that. Star Trek, up and down the world. It's like she starts singing these.
Yeah.
And she sings this whole number. And we know,
which,
Carrie Fisher had some very crazy times in those times.
Well documented.
I don't think she's wearing a bra, in this. And she looks, her eyes are like, her pupils are like black as a bucket of tar. So it's like, who knows what and she does this. And,
she sings the song, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very long-winded. And it's.
So we have the Life Day ceremony.
Yeah.
And then it's like it cuts to Chewbacca, close up of Chewbacca, and he starts to remember his adventures with his friends.
And it sums up the film.
And it gives like a quick, like 30-second montage.
The original film. You get to see all those things you loved, like the holodeck, the holo chest, the
holodeck. Yeah.
You see Moriarty trying to get off the holodeck. He's calling like bridge, or what is it? What do you call it? Arch. He's calling for the arch. And then you have like Guinness is there, and everybody shows up, and you have the Death Star and Vader, and
so it's definitely because it's like it has this close up of Chewbacca. It's like Chewbacca's like. His like Life Day remembrances are like, remember that crazy fucking adventure we just had?
Yeah, that shit was crazy. And then, but I get what Life Day is. Life Day, basically, it's cool. It's for me, it's very forward thinking. Like today, you have a Christmas, you have Rosh Hashanah, or you have Hanukkah, or you have Kwanzaa. It's just, it's for everybody. And I find that very forward thinking in 77. Then just let's have like you're celebrating life. Being alive, everybody can be part of that.
It's interesting because, like I said, when we were talking about the stoner aspect of it, the way it's presented, it's like it's very much, how like if you believe in heaven or
Yeah.
whatever. The idea is like people will explain it's, heaven is like you go there and everyone you love is there.
Yeah.
Like that's totally what like Life Day is. Is like you walk the sky
Into the star.
into the star. When you get there, like all your friends and family are there to greet you. So it's very like it's
very,
out there. It's very like metaphysical.
And then we go to a commercial break, and then we come back, and like the final shot is like everyone's left, and it's the Wookiee Chewbacca family around the table,
and their Life Day feast.
Yeah, they're about to say prayer, but they have these little balls, and the balls of I don't know what the balls are, and they go down to pray or sing to the ball, and then. Like you said, they're about to eat, and then that's the end of it. And it's like Star Tours, fucking Star Tours.
Yeah.
So this thing aired, and they say that like the first hour, it ranked number 2 behind The Love Boat, which was on the rival network, and then after the animated sequence with Boba Fett, the ratings kind of dipped.
Dropped. So it didn't even live up to expectation after all that. I know. Interesting.
And then everybody bad-mouthed it. I like again. We've already said why. I think that's kind of bullshit. What Lucas is saying now.
Yeah,
he's
like Lucas is going to bail on it. And
then
balls
to make fun of it, and then he never even met the second director that came in. They never even. So it's like. And then I understand the problems that the regular actors had, that like Harrison didn't want to do it and all that. But it's like, come on, man.
No, I was just.
Come on, man.
Talking to a friend of mine, this guy I work with named Dave, not the Dave we usually talk about, some other guy named Dave. Dave's not here, man.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit older than us, and I was explaining to him that we were going to watch this.
You said Happy Life Day to him.
I was like, we're going to watch the Star Wars holiday special, and his reaction was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Really?
And I was. He's like, "What are you doing it for the podcast?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right." And so Dave, and if he listens to this, little shout out. His story is it aired. He was 6 years old.
Yeah.
When it aired, and he was so excited about it because he was like, we had a whole year of Star Wars mania.
Yeah, of course.
And then this thing was coming on. And I was so excited for it. 6 years old, and it started, and he just like was a thud.
That first you open with fucking the daily life of the fucking
20 minutes of
do your laundry, no. It's just
so Dave is like us, and so Dave did a cut of it where like he trimmed it down to like 20 minutes.
Really?
Something I would totally do.
Yeah.
It's like, like when we were in college, I took the Evil Dead movies and I chopped off the beginnings and ends and I
put them all together.
Spliced it. It was like a 6-hour Evil Dead movie, just for shits and giggles. So Dave has like a 20 or 30-minute version of this where he fucking got right to the meat of it.
And did he keep in the cartoon?
He's like, it's good. It's actually good when you cut it down that way.
If he cuts it down to 20 minutes or so, and if the cartoon's still intact, that's 9 minutes.
Yeah,
he only has 9 minutes of
well, the cartoon kind of stand on its own, so I think he just kind of cut out all the bullshit, so it's just like the story of the Wookiees and
no
and
dance
Live
sequences.
Yeah, none of the songs, none of that.
So this has never seen the light of day again. This only aired once, never re-aired.
One time.
There's no copies of it ever. I mean, this became notorious, as everyone knows, in bootlegging. People in the 80s, you had bootleg tapes and tape generate, bootlegs of bootlegs and all that. That's how I first saw it. And it'd be cool. I mean, we did.
It was amazing to think where did those tapes come from?
It must have been the original airing,
I know, but it was like 78. That's some really forward thinking, like people with Betamax.
Yeah, taping, because there's you can go on YouTube and find ones with the original commercials in there. And there's even a joke, like a Family Guy joke, where they say like, I don't know, there's like someone teases like, or not Family Guy, South Park, frizzy fries at 11 or something. I forget what it was, the line, but that's even a joke.
That was from the commercial.
I mean, I watched one of the commercials, and it's like, Russia tests a neutron bomb, and I'm like, what the fuck is a neutron bomb? and then the woman says like, they test a neutron bomb, and it only kills humans, not the environment. News at 11. It's like, holy shit.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. And there was something other famous because someone else... something else happened, like there was a ruling. But a lot of people don't, also, if you're a history buff, people don't realize the next day being Saturday is the day that Jonestown happened.
Yeah.
And so that, stole the headlines for everybody. That freaking, what's his face? David, I want to say David Koresh, but it's not David Koresh. Jim Jones, killed everybody with his Kool-Aid.
For all you
down in
people that
Jonestown.
aren't familiar with the the Jonestown thing.
That's a
that's a whole other thing. But I think that it's for pop cultural references, just to put it in perspective.
Oh, drinking the Kool-Aid.
When you hear the phrase "drinking the Kool-Aid,"
yeah, it's the Jonestown.
they're referencing the Jones.
Yeah,
the Jonestown.
Almost
thing.
1,000 people committed suicide, but a lot of it is speculation if it is suicide or not, or they were kind of forced. But anyway, that happened that Saturday, so everyone forgot about the Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, this originally aired a week before Thanksgiving, and then this is very.
And the Jonestown thing was. Suicides aside,
it was.
There was like news guy. There was a news guy there, and he was getting shot at. I mean, it was a crazy.
I know a lot about it because I worked with a gentleman who actually had to go down there afterward, and he had to go down and identify because they had people who. He sponsored the senator to go down there because people got worried about. We're getting too far into it, but people got worried about their families, so they sponsored the senator to go down, and the senator ended up getting killed with the news crew live on the tarmac. It wasn't live, but it was live to tape, and then the footage survives. You can watch it. But the guy who got sent down there, he had to go look because they had spies or informants posing. So that he had to go around and try to find. They were wearing a necklace, whoever the FBI, whoever it was. Yeah. So he said he's down there. The body's been down there for 36 hours, and he's turned over bodies.
Anyway, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, everybody. So sadly, I don't think this movie. Getting back on.
But anyway, so yeah.
Well, that's another. If anybody
historical significance.
Yeah.
The day after this aired,
Jonestown goes down, and so we can get into that another day. But the point is. I don't think this will ever see the light of day. I'd love for it to be an Easter egg, but if you think if Disney owns the property now, how awkward it'll be for young viewers to try to explain away what this goofy freaking...
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It'll see the light of day at some point. At some point,
I think it'll be like an Easter egg on like a special
it'll
feature.
Be on. I mean, they'll release it.
I mean, how do you...
Lucas should have just released it. He should have sucked it up and just released it as a special feature.
Remastered
one of these
like,
many things.
Well, he had to explain anything.
As much as like everybody hates it...
It's the 70s, man.
Like there are petitions for it to be released. So as much as everybody's like...
Yeah, but there's petitions for him to like release the original movies,
Yeah. Well, those are a little more important.
I know, but I mean, like, he's still not even listening to them. So, like, this is probably way down
now
on his
that
list.
Disney owns it all, who knows?
Yeah.
It would be cool to have this as like a feature on a Blu-ray for Star Wars.
Like remastered or something. But like, and then I heard another urban legend that
Lucas should go in and like redo all the special
Imagine that. Like really.
Spend like $1 billion with
CGI the shit out of it. And it's
cartoon
like all,
Wookiees and shit.
Yeah, it's all computer animated. I heard that the Congress, they have the archives, and like they are every year they pick films to archive or music to archive. Well, they also archive videos, and this was the first video they supposedly archived because it was like the first one they got their hands on. So supposedly there's a pristine copy of this of the holiday special in the government archives for all prosperity, for those aliens when they come down to find. That's on that gold record that we sent up, that Carter sent up.
Sent up space.
Yeah, and V'ger.
It's been listed on a million lists of crappy things. Like David Hofstede ranked it number 1 in his 2004 book. What Were They Thinking? The 100 Dumbest Events in Television History. He ranked this number 1. It's on all kinds of lists that just kind of trash it. You can find endless amount of reviews of people reviewing it on YouTube. Where they just
I challenged our audience to try to find someone who halfway endorses it.
Well, I mean, there's a website which is like...
IMDb only gives it 2 out of 10.
There's like a Star Wars Holiday Special.com or something like that, where that guy is... There's a website dedicated. It's not like elaborate.
Yeah.
But clearly...
Circa 2000.
But clearly he loves it.
He has an affinity for it.
So there's a select few out there, but the vast majority of things written about it, vlog reviews of it, are going to be people either just making fun of it or just
like, why bother?
It.
Yeah.
A lot of anger about this one.
Yeah, and I can see why, because it's kind of like a bait and switch. But what do you want? They're doing a Star Wars variety show. I mean, and at the time, it's not like they did it yesterday.
Yeah.
It was in an era of variety shows. It was an era where they had a DC Comics freaking Friars Roast hosted by Ed McMahon, which was complete schlock.
Yeah.
10 years before that, you had Batman 66, which, was...
Yeah, I mean, look, as... the beauty of Star Wars, one of the many beautiful things about Star Wars, is that it took itself seriously. There was no real camp involved. Today, like even the effects wise, like aside from the most recent effects that are dated, the actual effects of this thing are for the most part hold up really well. So the fact that like an absolute campy thing was made, I get it. Like it doesn't feel like Star Wars. It doesn't, it's not part of Lucas's what his vision for the series was. But
for the people who are angered that like they tune in that night and they're expecting to get like a whole new Star Wars movie.
I was really interested. Yeah, well, there's that. But I was really interested to hear that my friend Dave said, because he's 6 years old. Because I was like as a kid. I mean, came out the year. It came out like 2 months after I was born. So, like,
you remember watching it.
But you think, you try to put yourself in the shoes of like if I was a little kid. And I was just like gung-ho about Star Wars. I just had a whole year being psyched about Star Wars. I got like the cardboard card for Christmas, which is like, you'll get
the toys soon.
You'll get the toys at some point.
Yeah.
But for Christmas, you're just going to get this card that says they're coming.
Yeah.
And I owe you for toys for Christmas. Reissued the summer of 78. Huge.
Yeah. Only a year later.
Yeah. Like 1 year later, it gets reissued. So I was trying to put myself in, like, if I was a little kid and I was into that hype, would I have been crushed? Or as a little kid, would I have just been excited?
Yeah.
And been like, because when you watch kids, like, I'm sorry, and as Dion knows, I own like Snoopy original art and shit like that. But you try to watch those Snoopy specials, and they are fucking boring.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it's magical, So I wonder. I was very curious to be like, oh, like Dave was saying he was 6, and I was like, okay, maybe he has perspective on it. Like, it was. You know what? Nowadays you look at it, it sucks. But when I was a kid, it was fucking awesome. He was like, no, it sucked then. So it's interesting to hear like a first eye account of it.
It's hard,
but like I wonder, like what, like.
I've talked to people who I work with who are of that age, and they say the same thing. They tuned in and they're like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
A lot of people, the kids lost interest. It's weird. I don't know. Did they look at it like it was going to be? I mean, when they did the original Charlie Brown Christmas, that was like a hit and done, and they didn't know it was going to live forever. I mean, these things weren't thinking like this was going to air every year for the rest of eternity. So I wondered, did they think this was going to have any staying power?
Well, apparently the writers, one of the writers talks about he did it because he was expecting that like every year he'd be getting a check for the rest of his life for like the Star Wars special, but it only ever aired that one time.
That's a shame. That is a shame. So I think it gets a raw deal, and it shouldn't. I mean, for all the things it has going against it, and just how it's been so unanimously panned, and just it's like, what?
When we
leave it alone, man.
When we did Deep Red, I gave my philosophy of watching an Argento movie, which is like you can't think about it.
Yeah.
You just have to experience it. You have to watch it. It's a visceral experience. You have to let an Argento movie wash over you.
Yeah.
And not think too hard about like the plot, the logic of things. Just let it happen. Just experience it, and when it's done, then decide whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to watch this the same way. You just have to put it on and just let like the complete oddness.
And I think
of it.
that's what we did. I think we got completely relaxed. We had a good copy of it. We put it in, and it just swept over us.
As completely painful as like the first 15, 20 minutes of just like Wookiee home life with no English is, there's something about it that's like, this is really weird.
Yeah. But like I said, it's like warm. It's like, oh, it's kind of comfort. They have our problems too.
Well, which is totally right.
And Grandpa, the mom wants to make dinner and have the kid take out stuff.
Kid wants to have a cookie.
And Grandpa wants to go jack one off in the corner
with his virtual reality porn machine.
Yeah, and it's it's just the problems we all have, but there's kids everywhere.
So even the stuff where it's like, it's like, painful to watch that opening sequence for that long. There is a part when you're watching it where you're like, it is amazing that this is going on so long. like, this is a real feat. They are dedicated to the fact that this is going to go on for this long.
This aired on CBS in place of the two hottest shows on TV, Wonder Woman and the Hulk.
So,
and in an alternate reality, this could have been a ratings bonanza.
I will admit, you said you'd never seen the whole thing before. I will admit that I probably have never seen the whole thing before either. I think I've gotten almost through it.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten up to like B. Arthur.
Yeah.
And then just been like, I've tried.
And also, I think the problem too is that you watch really like degraded copies, very shitty. That's another thing when you're watching something. It's like you're watching like old 70s porn. It's like you can't. Everything's just a blur, and you're like,
it's like when we did a plug for an earlier show that nobody listened to.
But we digress.
We did the Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Which is another movie that's like.
That was good.
It was like, oh, it's cheesy and the effects are bad, but like, you know what, like I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was an interesting
was
time.
Amazing.
It was an amazing time capsule for 1992
Yeah.
or 4, whenever the hell it came out.
And they knew what they were doing, so they wrote the script around not knowing that they wouldn't have a big budget. It was very smart Roger Corman thinking, put all the money in the thing suit. That's it.
And for as cheesy as it was, totally fucking enjoyable.
If you put that on in front of a kid, I think a kid would. I mean, now a kid may be spoiled if you have a kid watching. But if you have a kid, of the era, you put that on, like it's like the Captain America movie from back then. With Red Skull,
which I just
Italian.
DVR'd because it was on El Rey played it.
I haven't seen that all the
so
way
I
through.
got that baby all lined up for whenever we get to that one.
So it's like that, I think a lot of these movies get raw deals and they shouldn't.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is that you just experience, check your attitude at the door.
Yeah.
Like an expectation. Just let it happen.
This is going to be a very controversial episode of Saturday
I know.
Sleepovers because I'm sure we're going to get some hate mail.
People are going to be like, what the hell are you guys talking
about? I've lost all credibility for you guys. I lost all respect for you guys. But it's like, I like my holiday specials.
We're not saying it's the most amazing thing ever.
No, this thing, It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, it's
it's
flawed, but like,
what do you want for
just for me, it was just about embracing the absolute like oddity that it is, like the absolute weirdness of virtual porn reality machines, just 3 holographic circuses.
Yes, the Circus Soleil of 77 or so.
A really cool like cartoon. The fact that the stormtroopers are such jerks.
Very Gestapo-esque. Yeah, they're
just breaking kids' toys.
Yeah, they only trash the kids' room. Grandpa's rubbing one out to some virtual reality.
The fact that Art Carney and B. Arthur are even in it is amazing.
Or Harvey Korman.
It is
Harvey Korman. I mean, it's funny because you think also too, Carney and B. Arthur aren't really playing it for laughs. They're kind of semi-serious. Corman's there fucking... Yeah, he's doing the Lord's work. He's doing, aside from the last scene with B. Arthur, the first 2, he's doing monologues.
Yeah,
he's up there, he's on stage alone like that. Well, what the hell am I even here?
Yeah, the fact that you see that like Wookiee life is like entertainment for them is watching transvestite alien cooking with 4 arms.
Yeah.
It's completely... It's absolutely bizarre, and because of that reason, I just was like totally into it.
I mean, it's something I definitely...
You do tend to drift because, like you said, the pacing.
Yeah, it's very meta,
you kind of... It's hard to keep concentrate on it the whole time.
It's like a giallo.
But that's exactly. It's part of the experience.
Hey, you get something to eat. You start talking about during a song sequence. They start singing. You can start talking to your significant other about, did you pay that credit card bill? This reminds me. Do you have that? Do we have any Jefferson Starship? Is there any reason why we shouldn't have any Jefferson Starship? It's like that.
Absolutely.
Do you know who Diane Carroll is anyway? It's still, it's like, doesn't she sound like Shirley Bassey?
Yeah, completely.
So it's, and it made me want to go watch Honeymooners and fucking Carol.
Maud.
And Maud. I love myself some Maud because Maud takes place in the town over from where I live. So I'm always on the lookout for Maud.
Well, anyway, so yeah.
Sleepover Stars.
We haven't done Sleepover Stars in a long time.
Have we not? I don't even remember.
And recommendations. We haven't done that in a long time. I don't know. Let's see. Out of 5 buckets of pizza, you know what? I'd give it 3.
I would too. I give it 3 Sleepover Stars.
Yeah.
It's solid. What do people want? What the fuck is wrong with people? Come on. Blake's choking on some pizza. I mean, what do you want for nothing? I mean, come on. I mean, you're tuning in. You're getting, it's holding you over to 1980. until you get one of the best movies of all time.
I know,
Empire Strikes Back.
It's a little appetizer.
Yeah, if you thought this was bad, they surely redeemed themselves with Empire. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly probably didn't hurt that we watched it at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
And it was
Saturday,
it was a good copy.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
For all you that want to watch it, we should add that it's on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll even put a link in. We'll put a link in, and we'll put in a link to even the original commercials. You can see how crazy they are at the time.
But yeah, you know what? I'm with you. For all those people that badmouth this,
what the heck? You know,
why hold on to all that hate?
Look, I can see if you're a Star Trek fan, okay, then you're bad mouthing because you don't like the Star Wars property. But if you're a fan of Star Wars, why are you bad mouthing something they came out with?
Yeah, I mean, it's
what the heck?
It's
what Christmas time.
Just accept it.
It's a holiday. And I'm not going to go maybe watch it every year, but maybe every 5 years I'll put that thing in and see. Have you ever seen this thing?
When we do this one again in a couple of years?
Yeah, we'll do it again. In 2020, we're at this is the 18th anniversary of it, so maybe in 2 years, for the proper 20-year anniversary, we'll come back.
It's got to be more than 20.
No, 78, 30 years. Yeah, 30-year anniversary. We're at the 28.
Well, 40.
78. No, 70.
It's
you're
the
right.
Same year I was born.
Okay, so you're right. So
we'll be celebrating my 40th birthday.
Yeah, we're gonna watch the holiday special. So, yeah, and then I don't even know where to begin with recommendations for this. I'm sure there's some great. Go check out the DC. You think this is bad? Go track down the DC. The two. There's two of them.
It's like that thing. It was like, taste this. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
No, smell this. It smells awful.
Yeah, it does. Does it? Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, like I just farted. Smell it. Really? Yeah, it's bad. Are you sure?
No,
yeah,
man, you got to taste this. It's absolutely great.
Yeah, if you think that's my recommendation. You think this is bad? Go check out. The freaking what do you call it? The DC Comics Friars Roast, hosted by freaking Ed McMahon.
I say, find that episode of the Muppet Show.
Oh, with
Mark
Hamill. Yeah,
do a little like a variety Star Wars thing. What the hell?
That'd be great.
Make a night of it.
Yeah, and then see if you can find the Richard Pryor skit from the Pryor show and the Ozzy and Harriet.
The Burns and Allen episode.
The Burns and Allen episode. Hey,
the
George.
Amos and Andy that has.
Hey, Kingfish, did you see what's that, Sapphire? Chewbacca's coming down the thing now, yeah. The old the Burns and Allen show. So, but yeah, check out that. That's my recommendation. You think this is bad? Go check out that roast.
Yeah, man. Well, it was certainly. I'm glad we did it. It was certainly an experience.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's a Christmas thing.
It's another another check off the list of experiences. And yeah, that was funny because I totally was thinking, I was like, this is probably going to be the first time. First of all, this is probably the longest anybody's ever talked about this thing.
In this much detail.
And second, it's probably the only time two people have sat around and talked favorably about it.
Yeah, exactly. We challenge you to find somebody, aside from this wonderful website that this guy from whoever
clearly
knows.
There are people that have a fondness for it.
So maybe we'll make a list of and they like the Star Wars holiday special.
These two assholes.
These two jag-offs like to do holiday special. Jesus, and then there goes our credibility. So
look, we're all about embracing. Yeah. We're not about hate.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everyone's got
lovers, not fighters.
Yeah, baby. just put your hand on it, baby. All right. So just check us out on all the sites that we do. Saturday Night Sleepovers. We got our own website. We got Facebook. What else we got? We got Twitter.
We're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter.
Check out Scored to Death, Conversations with Some of Horror's Greatest Composers.
That's a book
I wrote.
A book you wrote.
It's available on Amazon, and I'm on Twitter and Facebook at Sat Sleepovers.
At Sat Sleepovers.
At Scored to Death.
That's our Twitter page. Yeah, and then that's it.
Sleep, I think.
Yeah.
Happy Life Day, everybody.
Happy Life Day to everybody. And I guess you can't say anything else because it's
Dion and Blake every Saturday night. Popcorn's popping, the pizza's in sight. Movie marathons till the morning Mega Jolt Cola fueling their dreams, watching childhood favorites on the TV screen, talking endlessly about their favorite scenes. Lights go dim, the screen comes alive. In Dion and Blake's world, nostalgia thrives. Buckets of pizza and endless high fives. Saturday night movies, sleepovers are where friendship survives.
Action flicks,
Sleepover,
horror films,
sleepover,
comedies,
movie sleepover,
erotic thrillers,
movie sleepover,
sci-fi.
sleepover. Saturday night movie sleepovers are where friendship survives. Saturday night movie sleepovers are where friendship survives.